Hey guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you guys? So happy you're here. What's up, Mindy? How are you? Betty, welcome. Leslie, hey, hey. Kiki, thank you for joining. Jay Crime, how are you, my friend? Jay, my wife and I are riding down the road today, and one of your videos popped up somewhere on my phone, and she's like, oh, look, it's Detective Cluso. So she's got you, man. Hey, Cliff, welcome in. A little bit different tonight, guys. We're going to do a little bit of, I'm not going to call it a conspiracy theory at all. I'm going to call it, I have questions, right? Going to talk about the Charlie Kirk case. I want to get into Butler, Pennsylvania. I've got some personal insight on that case. I've got questions. And here's the deal. I've blasted a certain female. I've called her a whack job. I've called her nuts. Is she really crazy? Or is she over the target? So we're going to break it down a little bit on both of these cases. Know that out in Utah today, we had a hearing with the Tyler Robinson defendant. So we're going to break that down a little bit. We're going to talk about the crime scene, what led up to that fatal incident. You know, we got to be careful and be TikTok friendly here. But yeah, we're going to cover a little bit of that. It's going to be different. Leslie, isn't it time to start talking about some of these cases, such as the Carlie? I mean, Charlie Kirk, if you don't have questions regarding the Charlie Kirk unaliving, you're either blind or you're not watching. You're just blind or you're not watching, one of the two. And I say that with all due respect, guys. Hey, while we start getting people in, this is the best part of the whole show, is where you guys watching from. If you'll just type in your city, your state, whatever you feel comfortable with. If you're just joining for the first time, Jamie Copenhaver here. I'm in Cocoa Beach, on the beach here in Florida. And we always like to acknowledge you guys because you guys make the show happen. So as we start getting closer to 8 o'clock, if you can just type that in. Nova, thank you for that. I like that. Man, Williamsburg, spent a lot of time up there. I'm from West Virginia, so beautiful, beautiful country up there. Got you, Jake. Scotland in the house. Hey, DK, thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. Hey, Colleen, good evening, my friend. Deborah, you've got 2 people from Scotland in here now. Way to go. Roswell, New Mexico, like that. Knoxville, Tennessee. Hey, Maxine, thank you. Cal, thank you for following. I appreciate that. Tucson, Arizona. Love Tucson. Isn't all of our cities and states just magnificent and beautiful, right? Houston, Texas. Memphis, Tennessee. Connecticut. Man, I spent some time in Connecticut. I went to the Ringling Museum outside of Hartford. Oh my God, what a museum that was. Hey, North Carolina lady, how are you? Speaks for itself, right? Beckley, my hometown. Well, I'm from Charleston, close to Beckley. Hey, Cheryl, up in Georgia. By the way, I talked to Rich today, Coco. He and his family are on vacation. I think they're up in Jekyll Island in Georgia. So they went up for some fishing and some R&R for a few days. Kiki, my friend out in Texas, how are you? DK. Well, listen, if you're not paying attention, and if you don't have any questions regarding not just the Charlie Kirk case, but the Butler, Pennsylvania for Trump, you're just not paying attention, guys. I mean, come on. Got a lot of questions. Hey, Reggie, thank you for following. Jay Crum, how are you doing, my friend? Hey, Jeff. Joni, thank you for that. Truth Teller. What's up, my friend? Queen Bee, hey, hey, hey. Rockhaven Films, thank you. Thank you, Rockhaven. I appreciate that. Number 115 in the fan club. Doing good. Just coming off of the, what a spectacular weekend, right? The 250th for our nation. We did some celebrating. We did some sightseeing. We took the day and just really and just, we went and tried some new food and watched some fireworks. And we had a spectacular weekend. Hey, mind your business. How are you doing? Carlie, I'm telling you, the fireworks were amazing. Brought to you by Port Canaveral, Florida, right there at Space Force. They did an amazing job this year. First time in a while. So glad to see the fireworks back in most of our cities. Melanie, hello to you. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, Jen Jack, thank you. So, riding shotgun tonight. If he hits the on button here shortly, we're going to have Steve come in. Steve's got a little bit of experience in terms of personal protection. I've worked a bunch of protection details in my career. I was certified by the United States Secret Service at one point, did a couple of governor's conventions, and was a part of a couple presidential details during my career. So we both have some experience in that arena. And let me tell you, Steve he's a straight shooter, right? Steve doesn't go left, he doesn't go right, he doesn't play the conspiracy thing. And if Steve Strickland has questions, we all should have questions. Thank you, Rockhaven. I appreciate that. J Crime is an amazing individual. And let me tell you something. If you're not following J Crime in the Zodiac case, that's going to be, I think, historical when it's done and over with and when he proves his case. I think he's already proved it. Just got to get the attention. But thank you for that. No news on Nancy. It's a toss-up. I did a couple news shows in the last 3 or 4 or 5 days. The question was, do I think the ransom notes were real? I do. I think the first 2 are legit. You have this FBI profile chick that is just a hack job, in my opinion. She certainly spun up some stuff and got some things going, but I have to tend to believe that both of those ransom notes, the first 2, were legit. I think they're real. And, here's something, ask yourself this question, and you can vet check me on this, fact check me. How many briefings have you heard coming from FBI related to any open investigations? I can name 2. And one was a movie unaliving, a spectacular event, if you know what I mean. And another case where the FBI came out was one of the Trump assassination attempts. That's it. The FBI doesn't go out and do pressers. So I'm going to tend that Kash Patel said whatever he wanted to say to screw with the media or to screw with the bad guys, but I'm going to contend that 2 of those letters are legit. You guys may disagree. Oh, wow. Those winds, man, I'm telling you, crazy. Glad you're safe. Scott and Tabby, welcome into the live. So, guys, let me know in the comments. Are you buying the wholesale package? And I'm going to talk about the Charlie Kirk case first. Are you buying what the wholesale package is being presented to you as facts and the absolute truth because the government said it happened that way, right? Let me know. Do you agree with the government's version of this? I can tell you, going back to Butler, Pennsylvania, and I'm going to try my damnedest to get the wife of Corey on. The sister and I speak 2 or 3 times a week over this case. They're not buying any of the junk coming out of the Butler, PA investigation. They just filed a federal lawsuit. They're not buying 1 second of it. So that's an interesting take coming from a quote unquote mega family. I'll just put it out there. They're not buying what the government's putting down. So, Greg, thank you. Very skeptical. That's an honest assessment, Greg. I like that answer. Kiki says absolutely not. Jinjak, a lot of that is suspicious, right? Hey, Kim. Penny, let me ask you a question. If it was a setup, and I'm not arguing your point, I'm behind you. Who was in charge of the setup? Was it the United States? Was it, if you listen to our friend Candace, she's putting the blame right over to Israel. So who was the setup? Who was behind that? There you go, Penny. You answered it right away. I like that. Hey, if one of the mods can fix the boxes, Steve, I don't know, the boxes are, they're bipolar. That's the best way I can describe these boxes.
Mind of their own.
I can shut this thing off and they're perfect, open it up and they're like bipolar all over the map. So if somebody could fix those boxes, hey from Dayton, Ohio, how you doing, Betty Joe? There you go. What's up, big guy?
Same old, man.
Can we make them even, like the same size?
Ouch.
Jamie says she's trying. Steve, we're going to open up a can of worms tonight, bro.
I told you.
We're going to open up a can of worms. But, I got in here a little bit early, Steve, to make sure everything was set up. And, I started asking the questions. I made a statement. Here's what I said. I give you props, Steve. I said, look, if Strickland, he's by the book. There's no left or right. And this is what I told them, Steve. If Steve Strickland is asking questions, everybody should be asking, because you're always straight down the middle. You keep things calm, but you keep things factual. So you yourself you've got a lot of questions.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong, because I think Lee Harvey was a patsy, but there's, like I said, we talked about this earlier, and there's certainly a lot out there that's not available, and I think that's where conspiracy theories thrive, is when we don't get a lot of evidence, we don't get a lot of stuff that maybe that we think we deserve, but when you're talking about a trial and stuff like that, it's going to be held close to their vest. So I hope that we get a lot more information, not only during these hearings and during the trial, but afterwards. I hope that a lot of this is explained. And understand this, folks. It's not always going to get explained to your satisfaction.
Well, let's leave that out there for just a minute, Steve. Let's cover what we know, okay? And let's start right off with Charlie Kirk. I mean, Steve, I've done a lot of hunting in my years. You and I both have put in a lot of range time, and I'm going to be the first to admit I have unalived game, and maybe a small percentage of that projectile, Steve, didn't exit that deer or what have you, right? But the majority of the time, using a 30-06, that projectile had an entry and an exit wound, shooting in the chest area. I got questions, Steve. That's a pretty high-powered weapon that was used at the Charlie, and I'm talking Charlie Kirk now. That projectile didn't exit. We've heard a couple of different theories as to why, but I want to ask you, what's your theory? Should it have had an exit wound? Should it stayed in the body? Where's Steve Strickland on that?
I don't know that there's a should have either way, that it should have stayed in or that it should have exited. Like you and I talked, a lot depends on the grain of the projectile that's used, what kind of material it hits, what kind of bone it hits, and when it hits that bone, where it goes to, where the ricochet off of the bones. Because you and I have seen a lot, I mean, I've seen somebody use a 22 to take somebody down, and those things bounce all around inside. I think it just depends on what it hits and how it hits, the angle that it enters in, and how it, like I said, the grain of the projectile itself. So whether it should have stayed in or should have exited, I don't really have an opinion on, just because I have seen both, and I know that it happens. So, it wasn't that difficult of a shot. The range that it was taken at, and from where it was taken, I saw somebody comment that they can't believe that the rooftops weren't covered. That's a lot of the questions that are out there.
Let's get to that in just a moment. Let's back up. A lot to unpack, and I want to do it in chronological order so we're not over the map, Steve. So let's get into that. You and I both have worked security details. I've done a couple of governor conventions. You've done a bunch of protection details. Let's get into that right off the bat. We have clear images of Tyler Robinson going up that stairwell. It's Tyler Robinson, later to be proved. Person unknown when that photograph was released, but we do have him going up that stairwell. Steve, I don't want to go into great detail on this, but that should have never happened. Why did he have access? How did he gain access? But at the end result, allegedly, if you listen to what the government is putting down, Tyler Robinson made it to the roof and took a prone position. How did it happen, Steve? And don't go right into a lot of detail, because we got a lot of stuff to cover in terms of ballistics. What's missing in terms of that prone position and the weapon he used?
Yeah, how he gets up there, it's just plain and simple. It's just a lack of security, a lack of protection, a lack of, from what I understand, they were offered help on campus from local agencies, and they said they had it covered. So it was just a lack of coverage, a lack of protection. These guys couldn't have been everywhere, and unfortunately, it's a lot different than a political figure coming in there, because with a political figure coming in there, and what I mean by that is somebody who works for the government, there's a lot of advanced team and a lot of advanced work that's done ahead of something like that. Probably should Charlie Kirk have had some more of that, because the people that he had, don't get me wrong, they're good. They're former.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you before we even spit that out. They're not that good.
Well, of course they make mistakes, and we've seen a lot of people make mistakes. But
was it a mistake?
Well, no, it wasn't a mistake, because they failed to do things. You have to. Understand this. Like you said, I've done a lot of protection stuff, and a lot of it has been smaller than this, with much more groundwork. Some of the stuff that I've done has not been, for. We're not talking about these. Like if I told you who I did it for, you'd be like, who?
But hold on, you're missing my point, Steve, and I'm on your side. Love you like a brother from another mother. So you just admitted these guys are very well equipped. They're very well trained. They're seasoned. They know the job.
Yeah, they just failed to do what they did.
Hold on, but you can't control a rooftop. Steve, I'm going to ask you this, because I got on here and was jib-jabbing a little bit before you came on, and don't think you've seen it. A lot of people think this was a setup from Jump Street. Would that be part of the setup plan, not to cover the rooftop and the high areas?
Sure, it definitely could be a part of a plan if there's a setup involved, for sure, to not take the high ground, because I would have owned that high ground. Why they didn't? Was it a setup? Who's to say at this point? I don't think that we have enough evidence to say that it was, but I don't think we have enough evidence to say that it's not a possibility either.
Rob Hayden in the chat says that they believe the shot never came from that rooftop, Steve. What do you say?
It did. I think a shot definitely came from that rooftop. Like you and I said, I think this guy's involved. Were there other people? I think at least in the planning stages, absolutely. But yeah, there was a shot from there. I mean, I think they have enough. Well, we have witnesses that heard and saw somebody on that rooftop take a shot. So they don't have the technology on the campus to be able to do the triangulation and figure out, where the sounds are coming from. But yeah, I mean, we know for sure that a shot was taken from that rooftop. Now, again, when you get into the conspiracy theories, whether that shot is the one that landed, who knows?
All right, so let's not get into the conspiracy part, Steve. Let's listen to the hearing today and listen to this question and the answer. To me, Steve, it's disturbing.
While you were on the roof, did you encounter any spent casings?
As a matter of fact, no. That's why when I saw the prone position where a person would be laying down as a sniper, being around guns and snipers all the time, I was looking for a spent shell casing. I couldn't see one. Looking on the edge, looking all over the place, making sure the gravel wasn't disturbed, and I couldn't find a shell casing at that moment.
And that would be the reason you would be looking for that was because some types of guns, when they shoot, eject a casing automatically, right?
Sometimes. Some guns.
Right. And then you also didn't find any unshot bullets.
No.
Okay.
So let me ask you, Steve. We've both been grilled by defense lawyers. Okay. Defense lawyers in this case, from what I understand, I've done a little bit of research on them, are pretty decent. They're pretty good lawyers, right? Steve, you just asked I think it's a very important question. This is not before a jury. This is a hearing before the judge. Did you find any spent shell casings? The answer was no. Was he surprised? Yes. So, Steve, number one, are they setting up a defense of, hey, it wasn't my guy, it was someone else? Or was it, in fact, missing and the shot never came from there? If you're a novice listening to that statement, the first thing I would say was, wait a minute, time out. There's no spent shell casings. This must not be the guy. Where's the defense going with this, Steve?
Yeah, and that could be what they're doing, but where they're going to end up getting into trouble is because we know that this gun belonged to his grandfather. The pew-pews that were used well in the past. I own one. I own a 30-06. It does not eject cartridges. I have to actually move the bolt and pull the bolt back in order to eject the cartridge. So, and from what I've seen of the pictures of the alleged rifle, it was the same time. It was a bolt action. So the bolt action does not allow an ejection. It has to actually be pulled in order to eject. And for like my 30-06 actually has a magazine that goes into the bottom of it. So it will feed the next one in. But some of these rifles, the pew-pews themselves, you have to feed the next projectile into it as well. So you may not have a magazine in yours. So that would lead me to believe, okay, well, he was expecting to get one off and that was it. And so that's why you wouldn't find any more. Because obviously once you fire that first round, you become known, you become self-aware that everybody around you has now figured out that something just happened. And so you're not going to, if you don't have a particular, like this particular rifle was not a rapid fire rifle. So unless you have a rapid fire rifle, you're not going to continue to stay in an area where you're about to be overwhelmed with hopefully lots of authority figures or other pew-pews being directed in your direction at this point. So
you think this kid was well trained?
Not necessarily well trained. Again, it's not a distance.
Hold on. Well trained. It was a long distance shot.
No.
So you're counting on this guy shooting one shot, hitting his target. He's done?
I'm not counting on it. That's what he's counting on. It's not a difficult shot. For people that hunt, that was not a long distance shot. It was not a difficult shot. You wouldn't be expecting windage or anything at that length of a shot. So you're pretty much point of aim, point of impact. I think probably he missed where he was trying to aim at because in my opinion, if you're going to do something like that, you're probably going to aim more at the head than you will at the chest. So, but you don't have to be well trained to make that shot. I think any hunter can make that shot.
You cannot be a novice and go out and take that shot and get that lucky.
I didn't say a novice. I said a hunter. If you're a hunter,
well, he's not a hunter, Steve.
You can make that. This kid, he had the rifle.
Wait a minute.
It wasn't like he had never. I guarantee it wasn't like he had never.
Wait a minute. We may get a little spicy.
We're gonna find out in the trial.
Listen to me. Factual.
You used this gun before.
100% factual. He was not a hunter. According to listen to me. Fact check me on this, people. I know you will. According to the documents in the court papers, Steve, he had never fired the gun.
I don't think that's true. I think we're going to find out.
Wait a minute, hold on. It came from the government. That's through their discovery, not the defense side. So I've got and that's what I'm saying, Steve. I've got an issue with what the government's putting out, and you may be look. I'm going to tell you. The first time I ever fired a 30-06, I hit the can. First time, never practiced. Boom! It has iron sights. Steve, what are iron sights?
Those are sights that are fixed to the gun itself. They're not. It's not like a scope or like a EOTech, like a what's the word I'm looking for? Not a scope, but it's also not.
It's not technology. It's just
it's fixed to the gun itself. Or the weapon itself. It's not. They're not movable. That's basically where everyone learns to fire a weapon with iron sights originally.
Now, he was experienced with an AR type weapon, Steve.
Same type of sights.
And had fired a lot of rounds at the range.
Right.
But according to the government's, these are the government's documents, not JC's documents, he had never fired this rifle. So,
well, there's very little difference. I mean, there's not a whole lot of difference in how you use either rifle. I mean, both an AR style rifle and the 30-06 with fixed iron sights, very similar, not action and not how they're powered, but the results of you putting it on your shoulder and pulling a trigger. There's not much difference when using iron sights to what they do and how you use them. So you could easily, I could take somebody out tomorrow with both styles of rifle and they would be equally proficient or imperfect.
Even with blurry vision?
Oh, yeah. A couple weeks ago, I couldn't have seen nothing. On
a hot, steamy day?
When you're talking about, obviously scopes are better. Obviously, like an EOTech.
But we're talking fixed sights.
But fixed sights, realistically, at the distance he was, we were shooting, you've shot on the range, on the rifle range. I've shot on the rifle range, 100 yards with fixed sights. Very easy to do. Those sights themselves, we talk a lot about when we use them about lollipop on the figure. So when you're looking at this aperture, through the sights at this, and you put the post right there on the chin, you're going to make impact. As long as you're not, jerking the weapon or anything like that. So, if you're proficient or not, you don't even have to be proficient. If you've used either rifle enough, moving back and forth between them.
So Steve, you don't think there's an issue here? You think that's Tyler Robinson is the guy?
I think so. I don't think there was another shot. Like I said, I'm not saying that he's the only one involved in this because I don't think this level of planning takes place without others involved, because you still have to move about, from where he lived to where he was. Takes a lot. There's just a lot of things that have to fall into place for you. And I don't think by himself, he was able to go there, find a place, the building which he used, I think I think there's probably more planning involved. I don't know that we'll ever figure that out. I don't know that there'll ever be enough because I don't know that he talks. I don't know that they've interviewed and gotten that information, but I think there's probably more than one person involved for sure. But I think
let's go back to the shooter, and we'll go to that next part because I have questions on that. So you think Tyler Robinson is the guy?
Yeah, I think he
fired that fatal shot, right? Yeah. Steve, you say it's not a difficult shot. You're at a event, a couple 100,000 people there. It's hot, it's steamy. You're laying prone on a rooftop. Don't shake your head yet. So you're telling me that's the same type of behavior you're going to act on that roof as you would the firing range? There's no pressure on the range, Steve, but here you have a live, walking, talking target.
Oh, I didn't say there's no pressure. But
so he got lucky or he's very good? Which is it?
No, I don't think he got lucky because I think he missed. I don't think he missed the body. I think he missed his target. Again, if you're a sniper and your objective is to end this with one shot, this is the best option. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I think he missed his target. Could be due to pressure, could be due to hot blistering sun on a rooftop. But I still don't think that somebody else took that shot.
Okay, and I ask you for a reason because I knew your answer. You're down the middle. You don't do the conspiracy thing. You don't put in a bunch of fluff. You tell the hell it is. That's why I ask you. Let's move over to Donald Trump at Butler, PA. And I want to cover both of these cases. If you believe the shooting actually happened, see, there are a lot of people thinks the whole thing was staged, that it was all fake, which I don't think it was fake at all. I think if you think it's fake, you're just stupid.
Right.
But Steve, going back to the same analogy of Tyler Robinson, not a sharpshooter, maybe a novice, maybe has practiced a lot at the range with other weapons with optics on it. But let's go to this Trump rally. Steve, if Trump would have moved a centimeter to the left, it would have missed his ear. So let's get back into the Crooks case. How in the hell did he miss that big pumpkin of the president? That tells me that, number one, he's not a sharpshooter, and he missed. I'm not saying he got lucky. I'm not saying either one of these guys got lucky, but they both missed their target. How do you miss a pumpkin head?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say what occurred during each of those that caused the miss, because there's a number of things that you can look at that could cause a miss. Because especially if you're not a shooter, non-shooters they tend to, when your finger is inside of the trigger. Inside the trigger guard, non-shooters don't know how much finger to use, how little finger to use. And so they either jerk the trigger, causing the bullet to go one way, or they push the trigger, causing the bullet to go the projectile to go the other way. So could that have happened? Absolutely. I think the Butler, Pennsylvania shot is much more pressure because on the Charlie Kirk case, the projectile did not exit Charlie Kirk's body. Just answering Kim's question there. Yeah. But in Butler, Pennsylvania, you're talking the shot was farther. You're talking about a tent compared to an entire stage of people. So your background is a little bit different. What you're looking at, you're looking into that tent and you have one person that you're looking at, whereas, you're looking at a stage with people behind the president, completely different sight picture. So lots of things go into that. As far as that, I think that's a much more pressured shot. Trust me, I have lots of questions with a lot of that, and a lot of it goes back.
So let's take a time out. Let me ask you this question. So we just bragged on Charlie Kirk's security detail. We both admit and agree those guys, they're the right job. They have experience. They have training.
Yeah, from what they've done in their past, they definitely that's what they do.
Let's get back over to the president's event at Butler, PA. I mean, now you're dealing with the United States Secret Service. I've been there. You've been there. I know those guys, and I know they're trained. I know the training they go through. Steve, how in the hell, and this is where the conspiracy is going to come in on both of these cases, because we're going to go back to Charlie Kirk in just a moment. Steve, how do you have the United States Secret Service on the ground of a presidential candidate? You go out and do a site survey for that presidential candidate. You look at the high ground. They even went as far, Steve, the campaign went as far and moved farm tractors and trailers to try to block that podium off. Where the heck was the Secret Service? Here's my other question. We're going to go back. Did the chicken or the egg come first? How did he get on the rooftop? We know that citizens were saying, hey, you've got a guy up here with a weapon. Hello. Never was communicated. And it took a split second for that. This was a real sniper that took this guy out. But Steve, do you understand and do you agree this is how conspiracies start? Because the government doesn't come out with the facts and the truth. And before you answer it, let me throw something else on. Saw something about the firefighter. Corey's sister-in-law and I speak about twice a week. Going to try to get her to come on. Their family just filed a lawsuit, Steve, against the Trump administration because they have a lot of questions. They're saying it was a conspiracy. They're saying it absolutely didn't occur as it's being produced by the government and Kash Patel. What's your take? I mean, are we looking at something other than what the government is producing? Or does the government have it right? And there were just all of these safety violations, all of these mistakes. I don't know, Steve. This one I can't get behind. I know the Secret Service. They're well trained.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you. I have my own conspiracy theories about this one, but it goes back to the Biden administration. There was a lack of Secret Service that they were allowing out to follow the Trump campaign. There was not an increase like there should have been during a presidential campaign as such. And so there was a lot more dependency on local law enforcement to take over as far as security goes. Secret Service was close. They were the inner perimeter. And, typically, you and I have been involved in plenty of these things where, Secret Service, I've been involved in stuff where when the Secret Service comes into town, not only are they the inner perimeter, but there's a bunch more of them, and they filter into the medium areas and the far areas, especially when you talk about snipers and stuff like that and counter snipers. They take distance. So, but those weren't there for this. This was all local. I mean, local law enforcement. I say state and local law enforcement that handled the outer perimeter on this. You're right. I mean, people were pointing this guy out. How it does not get relayed, and this guy isn't. How does he get to the spot in the first place? Who knows?
Hey, Rockhaven, if you could you request to come up? I want to pick your brain. Rockhaven's very active in the chat as well as everyone else, but I really want to. I've got some questions for Rockhaven. They're putting down a lot of good comments, Steve. I don't know if you're reading them.
I'm not even. I can't even see. But yeah, I mean, the Secret Service, and I'm sure what we're going to get is that the Biden administration didn't. It's not true. The Biden administration didn't do this or that. I think we've already heard plenty about, the Secret Service. And trust me, I've got a buddy that's former Secret Service. So they are well-trained individuals. They know how to do their jobs. Some of the Secret Service that was there, I have my opinions of, but it's just a lack.
Hold on. I know your opinions. Let me ask you. We're not going to be shy tonight. I don't think we're going to lose any friends. We're probably going to gain some followers, but we're going to piss some people off. Is it a huge? You said you had questions, Steve. I'm not going to say. Yeah, hold on. You're not going to go down the conspiracy hole. I don't know, but here's facts. I think DEI had a major role in that Butler, PA event. I mean, for God's sake, Steve, you have a female agent who can't even holster her weapon. The Senate listened to a bunch of that testimony. Is it conspiracy or is it DEI on Joe Biden's behalf?
And I think I misspoke. I don't have conspiracy theories on this. I don't think there was an attempt by the Biden administration to assassinate Donald Trump. I don't think there was anybody in the Democrat Party that was attempting to assassinate Donald Trump. So not a conspiracy theory as much as it is. I have a problem with how things were handled. I don't think there was enough protection given or allowed by the administration. Not that I don't think it was on purpose as much as it was to kind of poke the bear. And by having that lack of enough Secret Service there, enough types of teams that the Secret Service has, so their SWAT teams, the snipers, the things like that, not having enough of that is what I'm talking about, because the air was already hot with everything that was going on through this campaign. We all know that.
So you don't hold the protection detail supervisor responsible for this?
No, I do, and the reason I say that is because your job is not just your job for the protectee is not just right here on this stage.
Reason I ask you, he's now the sitting director of the United States Secret Service.
Right. And
I find that just odd.
No, yeah, you're exactly right. And so your job, it doesn't start and end right here on the stage. It goes to the very extent of a viable, not threat, but a viable shooting or pew-pewing position. And we both know that any good sniper, this kid wasn't a sniper, but any good sniper, with the right equipment, and he should have been prepared for all of that stuff. So ultimately,
hey Rock, I still can't bring you up. It says it's a private account. So if you can make that public or fix that, I'll bring you up.
It says the healthy debate. The healthy debate says, "Hey Jamie, it's Rock Haven."
Yeah, I just tried to bring them up, and can't do it. Steve, let me ask you this. I think we're on the right page, right? I think we're on the same team.
Yeah.
So it's not a conspiracy regarding Butler, PA. It's more of just a total failure by the protection detail and the now sitting director of the United States Secret Service. Should he have been fired?
That's a good question. I mean, you hesitate to, because we all make mistakes. Now, this mistake obviously was a little worse than mistakes that you and I have made, but ultimately, your job was to protect this individual, and you failed at doing so. So I don't think it deserves a promotion. Maybe not being fired, but you definitely don't deserve a promotion for failing at your job.
Here's why I ask that, Steve. When you go out and do that site survey, you're notifying all the locals, you're meeting with the locals. The local police up there, the sheriff, came out himself and said they had zero communication with the United States Secret Service. Steve, I don't know if I believe that.
Yeah.
I just find that so hard to believe.
And because if that's the case, should he have been fired? Absolutely. Because I've been involved in small stuff where the Secret Service is involved. And there's a briefing before we do anything, and we're all there. So anytime, I would imagine anytime somebody as important as Donald Trump or Joe Biden or Barack Obama, if we're moving them anywhere to do any type of thing, I mean, just look at the security that was at the opening of the Barack Obama library. I mean, and if it's the ones you saw, imagine who you didn't see. And so
let's bring in healthy debate real quick.
How you doing, Jamie?
Hey, good. Just saw a lot of your comments and just wanted to bring you up to say, hey, and what's your thought on both of these cases?
So when I first looked into the one that happened in PA, I mean, obviously, when we hear something of that nature, the first thing you think about is like, oh man, like, how is this happening so repetitively? But then I started looking at it when he had the kid up there. It almost seems like the same story. It's this kid whose dad owns a rifle and he has access to it, and then he's able to get up on a roof and nobody sees him. Well, with the PA one, they saw him well in advance. In fact, there was multiple people on that detail, not Secret Service, but local, that actually went out and said, there is a gentleman on that roof. There's a guy on that roof. He's just sitting there. They didn't see a weapon yet, but they're like, say, there's a guy on the roof. And then at some point, they started seeing things poking out of the roof. They kept saying it. Now, the local authorities, multiple people that work down there, have been on record saying we've contacted the Secret Service multiple times. I think one guy said we reached out to him 4 or 5 times. They never even responded back to us. But at the beginning of it all, they were very open to say, yep, contact us, we'll communicate, we'll do this, that, and the third. But when the actual event started, there was zero communication. They reached out to him. They let him know multiple times, there's a gentleman on the roof. We don't know if it's a gunman. We don't know if it's just an onlooker, but you should research it. You should go and look at it. And when somebody went as far as saying that they walked over there and saw a backpack on the side of the building or something like that, like a bag, right? And at no point in time did anyone ever say, hey, there's somebody on this roof. But then the shot rings out, right? We go fast forward. The shot rings out. There was this whole thing. On how, Trump's got his hand in the air and he's, with his fist up and he's got a little ear bleed. I mean, there's even people that think that maybe somebody took a piece of the glass from that little teleprompter thing there and cut his ear to make it look like it happened. I mean, you've heard it all. But again, I think the glass shard or somebody cutting it, that's probably makes more sense than it being nicked by a bullet and all of a sudden he's Wolverine, he can regenerate like this. And it was just a lot of nonsense. But then there was somebody that actually lost their life in that situation.
Well, let me stop you right there. I did the news live as this happened that day. So I watched the films in real time. I watched all the clips. Steve, I want to go to you first. We talked a little bit about the firefighter, Corey. Steve, I just had a deputy text me, Steve, remind me that he was escorted to a special sitting place. He wasn't going to sit there, Steve, but they escorted him to sit exactly where he was sitting when he was unalived. Conspiracy or just bad luck?
No, it's bad luck. You can't tell me. I do not believe 100% that the people that are there to protect would allow somebody to be unalived on their watch to either help or deter a presidential campaign. I don't believe that in any way, shape, or form. Those people are there. I mean, look no further than the people that put themselves in front of bullets to save Ronald Reagan's life.
What's your take on that?
Oh, mine? So I'm not heavily too into the conspiracy, but I think it's orchestrated. I think everything has been orchestrated. This man that we have running this country has such a deep hatred for the left side that he's willing to take a constituent from a state that nobody no longer likes him, place him in a specific location, and then maybe use him as a martyr to say, hey, listen, this is what we're dealing with in America. Like I said, I understand, Steve, you're not gonna agree with me on this, but honestly, think about this. I watched that Charlie Kirk video for 3 hours straight. I watched 13, maybe 15 different vantage view angles. I spoke with a specific person
Why
in the
aren't
military
people
that
killing
was.
Democrats? Why aren't people killing Democrats?
Well,
Why is it
we're not talking
happening
about that.
Hold on. Let's
Same
use-
direction.
We're not.
We got you. Hold on,
I'm
guys.
sorry. Unaliving.
Yeah, we can't do that. What
Why
I'm
are
saying
people not
is,
unaliving Democrats then? Why is it not happening both directions? If it's orchestrated, then why is one side orchestrating and the other not?
well, let's put it this way. The same person that we're talking about that runs the country is directly related to so many of these different situations that have happened. January 6th, Nancy Pelosi's husband getting attacked. Like, there's a lot of things that are associated with this president for people that follow him. You can't just say, oh, this guy went in and attacked this person, but you're heavily aggravated. You're heavily saying like, oh, I wish this would happen to this person. And then when it does happen, you show absolutely no remorse or empathy for these people that work in a government amongst you. Now, you don't have to like everybody that you work with. I'm pretty sure at some point in time, we've all never liked everybody we worked with, right? But you got to have some type of empathy for something that might occur. And the verbiage that he uses does not show that he has any empathy for the people that are on the other side. Now, if it's people on his side, it's different. They made Charlie Kirk like it was like the Super Bowl of funerals. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy.
Let me jump in and ask you a question. And this is factual. I mean, it's been testified on both sides. And I'm going to you, Healthy Debate. You bring up a couple good points, but I'm going to go back and suggest to you what Steve said earlier. This is facts, not fiction. The Biden administration absolutely 100%, it's all the testimony, absolutely cut down the security detail for the president, former President Trump, now sitting President Trump. So we know for a fact they cut the detail. They cut a lot of the resources. They cut equipment. The site survey should have been done a week to 10 days in advance. It was done 2 days before. That all comes down to the Biden administration. So let's be fair. I mean, should that have happened?
That's a fair assessment. That's a fair assessment. However, this is what I would say, as the sitting president, if he can put up a concert or a 4th of July to show 850,000 fireworks and do Guinness Book World Record, I'm pretty sure that as a president that has been able to push through over 100 executive orders, he can executively order to have more detail for his specific things that he's trying to do. He is the president. He is the commander in chief.
I'm going to have to cut you off. That has nothing to do with
Not during Butler.
The president.
No, but what I'm saying though is that if you're going to have a certain amount of detail, right? Regardless, let's say it went down from 10 to 5. Okay, I'm just throwing numbers, but let's say it went down from 10 to 5. Regardless if you have those 5 people, the same organization that you would have for any other event that you do, you're going to do that in a town that you're going to be talking in with amongst all your constituents, all your followers, right? You're going to have, these are your people. So you're still going to have your detail, but I would assume, and I'm sorry, Steve, Steve and Jamie, if I'm not 100% versed on this, but I would assume that the president could still add detail at his disposal if he wanted to, and if not, why would they not look at this site ahead of time?
Okay, stand by.
As the former president,
he wasn't the sitting president.
Right.
He was a candidate.
As a former president,
over the government.
He has an assigned Secret Service detail to him after he is out of office. I don't know the number, and I'm sure that they won't disclose the number of people that are assigned to him.
I wish we knew the number.
But those people travel with him everywhere. The difference being the non-assigned people to former President Trump during the campaign should have been the same number of Secret Service agents that are allotted for a Joe Biden campaign, a Kamala Harris campaign. That should have been the same number of people regardless. And we know for a fact that the number that was allotted was cut down. So Trump doesn't get a say in that. The only thing he gets a say in is the people that are directly assigned to him and those people that work with him on a daily basis. In 2 more years, when he's out of office, those people that were with him or assigned to, I mean, some may retire, so he'll get new people, but he still only gets those, just the same number that Bill Clinton currently has, the same number that George W. Bush still has, the same number that Barack Obama and Joe Biden have. That's it. He doesn't get to pick and choose the level of security that happens at an event, a campaign event in a city that he's going to. Granted, his people should still be talking to local law enforcement when they're coming to places like that. But during a presidential campaign in history, during presidential campaigns, Secret Service, the current administration provides Secret Service members to candidates. So when John Kerry ran for president, John Kerry was assigned Secret Service at every event he went to. A certain number of people. Okay. Again, we don't know those numbers.
So can I ask a question though, Jamie?
Ross Perot, same thing.
I got an inquiry, and it's gonna probably transition into the statement. But are we insinuating that because the detail was requested to be lower, are we insinuating that Biden's administration was setting up for something like this to happen to Donald Trump? And what type of location was Butler? Is this a rural or is this an urban?
Let me answer that. It's going to be a gotcha answer, I'm sure, but I want to answer it. And by the way, guys, the chat's amazing. You guys are respectful. We may not all three agree, but it's a healthy conversation I think that we need to have. Let me set it up for you. Do I think Joe Biden intentionally did this through the lack of support, lack of resources, lack of agents? No, I don't think so. Here's where this is my honest assessment to this. I think there was so much hate from the Biden administration to the candidate Trump that they give him a skeleton crew. That's factual, not fiction. You can go fact check me. When you show up for a site survey 2 days in advance, that doesn't work. That's absolutely not within policy of the United States Secret Service. And then, was it intentional? No. But I think, in my opinion, this is going to go a little political, and I think you guys will give me some grace on this. I think Trump was doing so well at these open air rallies that they were trying to make it difficult for him. And maybe perhaps if he saw that, hey, we're not getting the resources for the protection that we need, maybe it would lessen those open air rallies to curtail some of that. Because I think it was eating up the poll numbers. That's just my opinion. I disagree or agree. As far as the event location, it was wide open. It was a fairground. They had a lot. But
it's a rural location. I'm assuming it's rural.
Absolutely.
Okay, so and the reason why I'm going with that route is because it's expected, right? And I don't know how many rallies you guys have been to, but it's expected, like if you're having a candidate like Trump in a rural area, the chances of something going on in that rural area are going to be slim to none because the majority of the people are actually coming for that candidate, right? Now here's the thing.
And the only reason
and the
only reason I say that, healthy debate, is because people will travel because here's what you have to understand. He went to Butler, Pennsylvania, but he didn't go to Philly. He didn't go to, other cities. So a lot of times, and honestly, so he goes to Butler. He may not go to Cincinnati, Ohio. So people from Cincinnati, Ohio, who are Trump supporters, are going to travel to Butler, PA to be there. So in like mind, people who are not Trump supporters, who have, like this kid, who had an agenda to attempt to assassinate, they will likewise travel because if they know their only shot is going to be at Butler, PA, because he's not coming to Ohio, he's not coming to West Virginia. I don't think he ever made a stop in West Virginia. Maybe when the coal mines were being shut down. But
Steve, wait a minute. You hit the nail on the head. The Butler, PA rally was ideal for someone to travel to carry this out. But hold on, Steve. The bad guy wasn't from Utah. He wasn't from Nebraska. He was from a hometown.
Right.
Right.
But it was an ideal, in my opinion. Had the buildings been covered and the high ground been closed, it would have been an ideal location for the Secret Service to protect any protectee at that event.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know why any of them have outdoor rallies. I don't.
Rallies, exactly. I agree.
I don't understand that at all. The access is ungodly.
Because he was chewing up the numbers.
No, I get it. I understand their want to. I really do, because I would want to be amongst the people. Where the people are, that's where I want to go. But the logistics, the security, as a security guy, as a Secret Service, especially his own Secret Service team, I would be like, look, President Trump, former President Trump, we got to do this at an arena where I can control access. I can control metal detectors. I can control wands. Now I'm less likely to have an event. Not guaranteed.
What we say?
Hold on, guys. I'm going to throw a wrench in the mix here. Steve, they couldn't even protect the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Yeah. Right.
And let the bad guy run right through the damn magnetometer with a long gun.
Yeah. Again,
now here's the thing: we can't argue detail there because they have all the security there.
Well,
all the security,
but not enough. Obviously,
no. They have plenty of security. You got to watch the video. They had plenty of security. In fact, when the man went into the building, when he was there previous, they had plenty of security, and he ran past 15 people.
Well,
15 people.
Trust me, I get that. But here's what you also have to understand. The man had a room.
That's just in the hallway.
The man had a room in the hotel. So they didn't have any control to his access to that building. So
they have control to his access to that hallway, is what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
And that's just 15 people in the hallway. That's not even including the people that are beyond the vantage point of what they show you on the video. And there's another 20 people.
The people that I saw on the video standing around leaning against rails and with their hands on their hips, I have a big problem with that. Your job is protection. And when you're standing there looking the opposite way from the hallway and your hands are on your hips and you're leaning up against the post or a rail or a stanchion, I have problems with that.
I just think that's another situation that was staged, Jamie. I'm going to be honest. I think it was another staged thing. Nobody got hurt. There was a shot that let out, but nobody got struck. Nobody got hurt. It was news. It was this and that. And I feel like a lot of times these things happen because there is an ulterior motive for it to happen, like afterwards. Like, okay, because this happened, now guess what? I'm going to spend this amount of money to build this thing and do this or whatever. But honestly, let's go back to Butler. Everybody, all they had to do was communicate with local authorities. They were all. The guy even said it. Hold on a minute. You know, we're 100% in agreement here. But we're doing a great job chatting. So I'm not cutting you off to say stop. No, you're fine.
I need the mods. We need to do a poll. Was the White House Correspondent Dinner event staged? Yes or no? Let's just see what the people say, Steve. Steve, I see some smoke coming out of your ears.
No, not at all.
Arlene, I would need to know who that Secret Service agent was because I didn't hear any Secret Service agent.
Yeah, there was a Secret Service agent that was shot in the chest. Body armor saved his life. But yeah, there was a Secret Service agent that was
shot. And that was when the guy was running out.
No, that was
when he was coming in.
When he was coming in the hallway.
When he was coming in.
Yeah, okay. He actually fired several rounds as he was being fired at from behind.
I mean, here's let's see what the poll says. But Healthy, I've got to tell you, I've been around a few years. Steve's been around a few years. I'm glad this came up. Something just told me to bring you up. I don't know why. Right? You're a great guy. Here's my problem with some of the staging. Mm-hmm. Do you realize that it would take an army of people, both in the president's staff, all of the attachments that go with that president to an event like this, to include the Secret Service, even down to the White House correspondent reporters, to pull a stunt like that off if it wasn't real. Do you agree that it would take a lot of working parts?
Oh, 100%. And I'm in the middle there. I said stage. I mean, that's kind of what I feel. But I'm also in the middle there where it could not have been, that could have been incited by hate. It could have been somebody that really doesn't like him.
Hold on. Yours truly may be going down the stage route, Steve. I I'm going to get a text from Strickland in a moment. What are you lost your mind? But let me ask you guys a question. Was JFK an inside job, and did the government have anything to do with JFK's unaliving? Yes or no?
I believe 100%.
Okay, so things can be staged.
100%. And guys, I'm in movies, right? So obviously my name was Rockhaven Films, but this is my podcast, The Healthy Debate. And I am 100% believer that a lot of things that you guys see in movies is based off of government intel. These people that no longer work in the government, they're sharing these ideas with producers and writers and things of that nature. Like, these things happen. When you hear of somebody getting hit with a pin gun or a pin pew pew, right? I think that's real. I think when you guys were debating Charlie Kirk earlier, I looked at these videos from the vantage point of where that building was to where the entry was. And then you see the hand signals by the guy on the right. And then you see the guy in the behind him. And there's a lot of things going on. Now, when you see the vantage point from the left side of the video, it looks a lot different than where this guy apparently was at on top of that building. So you start wondering, if you watch the guy's hand that's in his pocket right before the fatal shot, okay? You watch that guy to the right of him in his hand, in his pocket. If from where he was standing, and now this could be a conspiracy theory, right? So this is right up Steve's not alley right here. But if he was to have something in his pocket and do what he did, he could quite frankly do exactly that from his angle, because it almost looks like where the necklace thing, the little voice or the microphone thing he had around his neck or whatever, it looks as if that could have been where it came in, right? Everybody's wondering about this exit. There is a specific video that happens after all of this, the aftermath, the handoff. There was a handoff that nobody paid attention to, and that is very vital to this case. Nobody's been paying attention to it. But you know what? The one person that absolutely cannot stand in politics is Candace Owens. She was able to actually get this video. And because she's friends with, that was her friend, I would have never listened to this woman before this. But she went online, she showed this video, and I'm telling you, whoever sent her that video from that camera angle, that was vital. I don't know what was handed, but it was his detail that handed something to another person in his detail, and it was a small item, hand to hand, as they ran off. Now,
and I will tell you this, and I understand exactly where you're coming from. I agree with you, except that I firmly, I believe less than 10% of what I see these days on video, because
because everything can be
AI is so good and getting better every day that unless I'm sitting right beside it when it occurs, I tend not to, but I will tell you this. I agree with you about how you talked about things being staged and how things work, because I don't know if you ever watched the show on, what was it, Netflix, House of Cards with Kevin Spacey, where he played the president. Yep. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a Kevin Spacey fan anymore, but
I don't think a lot of us are.
That show, every day that I watched it and something happened, I went, I bet that crap really happens. I bet they really do that stuff. I bet. I know the, hey, I'll scratch your back if you vote for my thing, and you scratch my back when I vote for your thing. But I'm not, I'm not one to say that there's not some unalivings that go on because of Washington wants it to. I won't tell you that I don't think that there might be. So,
Healthy, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Central casting. Do you know what that means?
Central casting?
Yep.
Oh, I'm pretty well, unless it has something to do with film specifically. I would say it would have to do with a lot with picking the perfect people to play perfect parts.
There you go.
And essentially, it's so funny that you said that, because I think I've been saying this for the last couple of years when it comes to certain situations. I don't think that boy, Tyler, I don't think he had anything to do with it. I think the time frame is way off. He was in a whole different part of town at a restaurant, didn't have a vehicle. didn't have a bike, would have had to walk that distance, and the timing from where he was to get to that building and then carry a bag up and then open the bag and then put everything together and then do all of this under a vantage point that nobody could see him doing. It just seems a very far-fetched. I think that our suspect was already up there hiding. He had already been there. And then when it was his time, once he heard a viable amount of people there, heard him, started talking, started saying things, he was waiting for this man to say something specific that was going to be his, almost like his go-to. And when you see people that have military experience standing behind this gentleman, doing hand gestures and things of that nature, and then everything happens after that, it seems very calculated.
Let me chime in, because you get me fired up a little bit, and I'm trying not to get fired up and spicy. And I'm not fired up at you, because you're bringing up some good points. Steve Strickland, we've been on thousands and thousands of crime scenes. We've watched thousands upon thousands of crime scenes on TV, on the news. Steve, where was the crime scene at Charlie Kirk's case? And oh, by the way, a little unknown factoid, Steve, they paved over the crime scene.
Yeah, I'm not saying that wasn't taken out way too quickly. Impromptu paving. It was literally not put up for bid. The deal between the school and the contractor took place after hours. How do you explain that? How do you convince a 20-something-year-old kid to face the death penalty?
Well, let me. Can I answer that?
Not involved. Yes, if he's not involved,
can I answer that?
What do you tell a 20-something-year-old to face the death penalty and to be convicted?
Can I answer that?
Go ahead.
Everyone would call you a conspiracy theorist whack job when you said the words or the initials mind altering. You ready for this, Steve? I'm going to blow your mind. Paula Luna just came out publicly and said, for a fact, and it's going to be released, the government has mind-altering programs by the CIA and other federal agents or agencies that can control your mind. It's called MK Ultra. And Alex Jones has been preaching it for years, and people said it's crazy. Well, now it's not crazy because it's before Congress, and there are a lot of people that were there originally that are testifying. I believe in the MK Ultra theory. Call me crazy.
Does anybody have
crazy?
Can I add to that? Can I add to this? Does anybody have Tyler's criminal history?
Yeah, I don't know.
I would love to know what his criminal history is.
I don't
exactly.
know.
So what I'm saying is that my spin on that would be a kid of that age that knows absolutely nothing about the criminal justice system could easily been he could have easily been brainwashed. He could have been manipulated. He could have even been threatened when it comes to his own family and things like that, in order for him to give what they wanted him to do. Fall guys have taken less. So that gentleman, what was it? Didn't they say that the kid in Butler had mental health issues?
Well, if you're a shooter, you're definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're a shooter, you definitely.
Right. Okay, well, again, I mean, are we going to say every American that decides that they're going to hold a pistol in regards to their constitutional right has mental health issues? Absolutely not. But it just seems like more so case, even with the situation that happened in Buffalo, for those that know about Buffalo, I'm not actually that far. I'm about 45 minutes from there in upstate New York. With the gentleman, the kid that came down there and unalived all those people at the supermarket. They said he had mental health issues. Guess what? That particular weapon belonged to, guess who? His father, his parent. He had full access to it. This seems to be an ongoing issue that a lot of these individuals have the ability to retrieve this, go and do these things, and then no one takes accountability for it. Like, not even the parents are accountable for their children nowadays. So all I'm saying is that
we've arrested parents for school shootings.
Well, none of these parents are arrested, Steve.
Not on.
Yeah,
No, I'm saying. I'm not saying. But we can't say that none of parents are being arrested because
I don't know any of these shooters' parents.
I don't know any of these parents that have been arrested. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Find it. The one several years ago that they arrested both of his parents.
Yeah, I don't know any of the. I mean, there could have been one, but we're talking about in the grand scheme. I mean, you can go back to Columbine. What is that? 1 out of 5,000? You're like, literally. Wait, what's the numbers look like? It's going to be very minimal.
Let me ask you a question. Why is it so hard? Maybe you just haven't read up on it. Respectfully, and you know I love you like a brother. Why is it so hard for you to wrap your head around MK Ultra when I went to a Drug Enforcement Administration class up in Quantico, and we talked about old 1970 chemist and LSD, and it's factual. The United States government used LSD as a weapon to get confessions and to control people's mind.
Mm-hmm.
There's no disputing that, Steve. That happened.
It's not that I'm not wrapping my mind around it.
I'm going to let you answer. You have sitting members of Congress who I don't think are whack jobs. They're ripping us off, but I don't think they're all crazy. On both sides of the aisle now, talking about MK Ultra. I'm not understanding. You have the Havana syndrome. That's factual now. It's caused a lot of people to get sick through radio waves. And I know, guys, I sound like I'm a whack job. I'm not in bed with Alex Jones. But Steve, MK Ultra is being portrayed by the United States government, sitting congressional people, as a factual, real program. Are they lying?
I'm not saying they're lying. What I'm saying is evil is out there and evil exists, and people do things. And they don't have to be brainwashed to do them. And just so I get this out there, so Michigan school shooter Ethan Crumley, both parents were convicted of involuntary manslaughter and sentenced to 10 to 15 years. So we are starting.
Just to be fair, when did that happen?
2024.
Okay, so what I'm and I appreciate you looking that up, Steve. But what I'm saying is that was 2 years ago. Okay, that was literally 2 years ago. But this is what maybe one of very few where this has happened, and maybe the state of Michigan just had enough. Like we're over these school shootings. These parents now have to be responsible. But this has not been our country. Like this is all new to me. Like,
no, I'm not saying that it's not. I'm not saying it's common to do this. I'm saying that's where we're headed. I believe we are getting better at doing that. We are, we have these places. I don't know what's going on in New York, but I mean, these teen takeovers, we have places that are already starting to say, okay, if you have these teen takeovers and we arrest your teen, we're also coming after the parents, because the parent, why is a 16-year-old child out at 2 o'clock in the morning taking over International Drive in Orlando? So I think we're getting better at doing that. But what I also don't want to do is I don't want to blame the pew for the unalivings.
I don't think anyone's blaming the
No, but what I'm saying is,
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm
mental
blaming the
health.
government.
No, but what I'm saying is, as far as mental health goes, the reason you see these shooters, these people that are unaliving people, and everybody saying they have mental health is because they have mental health issues. Normal people don't just grab their pew-pews. How many pew-pews are in this country? And normal people just don't go out and unalive people because they don't agree with them. I mean, I'm not loading up right now for Bear, going out and start to look for the people in the comments that don't agree with me. The people that have mental health issues, it's a real thing. And we have to that's part of the reason we have to take care of a mental health court. We have to get better at taking care of people with mental health, because evil exists.
I can't go down that road on mental health. I think there's.
I really can't either.
And here's why, Steve. I'm going to qualify why I disagree with you. Love you like a brother. I'm not blaming all this on mental health. I'm going to blame it on money.
I'm not saying that they have. When you choose to do this, it doesn't matter. I'm not talking about taking a shot at Donald Trump. I'm not talking about taking a shot at Charlie Kirk. I'm talking about the people in your local cities that are going out and doing things like this, that go to a supermarket and shoot up 10 people. there's something wrong with that individual. It's not just I don't like their opinion. There's something mentally wrong with somebody that does that. I don't care who you are.
I think it's indoctrination, and I think it's almost cult-like. That's just my opinion. I don't think it's all mental health. I think it's.
I might agree with you on that.
I think it's in principle. Hold on, Steve. Let me ask you this: was the correspondence dinner staged, Steve? What do you think? Who won? Yes or no?
Well,
we've got a good group in here.
I have a feeling they're going to say no.
I think they disagree with me. I think most people said that they felt that it was probably staged.
And even though I brought it up, I think that they said no.
You think they said no?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys, I guess this thing's still going because you're still voting. Vote in the dadgum poll.
Yeah, I think there's 3 minutes left.
You guys in. It was tied when I started asking that question. It was 50-50.
Yeah, and I'll say this to that. I don't agree with every word that comes out on Twitter by Donald Trump. I don't accept the way he acts sometimes, the things he says. But I have faith, not so much anymore, but I have faith in the people that are sworn to protect. And I get it. Not everybody has to be part of the conspiracy. Not everybody has to say, I don't have to bring all the people in that are going to be there and go, okay, this is what we're going to do. So I'm certain there are people there that if it was a setup, I'm certain there are people there that were not privy to that information. And I say that because I think if you're all privy to that information and that it's supposed to be a setup, I have faith that there will be people that will go, absolutely not. I'm not going to let that happen on my watch. I'm not going to be that person. And they would either affect the situation in some way or they would say something.
Okay,
they may lose their job.
Let me cut you off respectfully. Where's Sean Kern at? Why did he say, wait a minute, the then candidate for president, Donald Trump, is my protectee. I'm in charge of this detail. Where was he at? Why did he say, stop? I'm not going to let anyone get hurt because we have no resources, no staff because of Joe Biden.
Well, because I think, and I think we all know this by what we see. I'm not saying this because I'm a Trump supporter. I think we all understand that that man is a bulldog. And we saw it in the correspondence dinner. We saw it. July 4th was a lightning storm. And the man said, if I have to speak to one person at 4:00 in the morning on the national lawn, I'm going to do it. He's that type of person that he's going to make sure that whatever he wants to do gets done. And so to me, I think the director says, hey, Mr. Trump, I don't think we should be doing this. And Donald Trump says, okay, find a job because I'm going to do this. And you're no longer the head of my security team. And so that man is all about that. And that's one of the things I like about him is because he's going to do, and people are going to take this out of context and have at it. He's going to do what he wants to do because he's so passionate about what he believes in. And that's what I like because I'm patriotic, because I speak my mind as we're seeing here. I'm not easily swayed on things. You present me the evidence and absolutely, I don't mind switching sides, but he's passionate.
I don't know if I'm convinced, and I may lose some friendship on this.
Right.
I don't know if he's a bulldog or if he's turned out to be a freaking grifter, and I'll leave it at that. Maybe another debate another time.
Right, and I understand.
And look, transparently, I voted for him twice.
Right,
twice. I voted for him. I want my vote back.
Right. No, I understand. I still love you. I've seen the things that you posted. I'm not. When you text me, honestly, I still text you back. So it's not. That's we're not there. I just and I don't disagree with healthy debate here. I don't. It's not. We have disagreements, but it doesn't mean that I think
this is why
a whack job and that he's far out there.
This is why debates are healthy. This
Absolutely.
is why debates are healthy, right?
And that's what we should be doing.
even
more of.
Even though I didn't get the candidate that I wanted for president of the United States, what do we end up doing? We sit back, we watch, right? And a lot of times I start questioning people's common sense. So even when it came down to what was the thing that he did in the middle of the desert, right? He brought all these people in the middle of the desert and then he left them there. Like, that's not common sense. You guys didn't hear about that? Listen.
Hold on a second. Let me get this poll off my screen. Was the correspondence there? It changed like 3 times, guys. Was it staged or was it legit? The staging part won there for a little bit. So legit, it was a legitimate attacker. Well, wait a minute, it changed again. It's still going on. Strike that. It's still happening. I thought they shut it down.
It says
they started it up again.
2 minutes and 21 seconds.
Okay.
Jamie, they started it up again because something had happened. So Leslie started it up again for you.
Okay, cool. So what's the desert then?
So there was a point where he had offered a bunch of people to come to a rally. He ended up busting them out there, right? Everybody did not have to bring cars. He bussed them all out to the middle of the desert. And at like 2 a.m, somebody sent me this video of all these Trump supporters literally stranded in the middle of the desert, wondering if these buses were going to come back and get them. They were stuck.
I remember that.
You remember that? And here's my thing, right? It's a laughable moment because I'm thinking, man, common sense would have said, why didn't the buses just stay there? If you're going to pay for them to come out, have the buses stay there. Let the guys that's driving come in, have some drinks, maybe feed them some sandwiches or something for the rally, and then get them back on the bus and then head back out. But no, you paid for the buses to go one way, and then there was only one bus remaining. And these people are waving at the president as he's leaving like, hey, what about us? You know, they're all in the desert. Common sense. That has been my problem with this time frame, is the common sense. Don't stand on stage and try to incite, even if you didn't mean to incite.
Well, hold on.
That's exactly what you did.
Full transparency. I would like to knock Cory Booker on his ass because I've heard him multiple times. Let's fight. So it's on both sides.
I mean,
100%. 100%.
I'll tell you this,
I
mean, as far as talking about things that can be staged, I don't agree with you on necessarily what you're saying about the correspondence dinner, but at the same time, I'm sure you don't agree with me on what I think was staged about January 6th. I know somebody that was there. So according to them, it's still secondhand information because I wasn't there, but I trust what this person says to me. And so, I mean, that might be another poll. Do we think January 6th was staged? Because from what I heard from the person who was there, there's a lot of stuff that is still questioned about FBI agents in the crowd, inciting, violence, because technically, when the January 6th started, everybody who was at the Capitol was way far away at stanchions. And they were all told, we're going to bring you up to the stanchions in front of the Capitol. We're going to let you come up here. And then all of a sudden it was, okay, you can go in, but you can't go past the second floor because past the second floor is off limits. So
but you're not supposed to be able to go in either.
Well, okay, that's what I'm saying. Why were they allowed in?
Hold on.
Because some people were allowed in.
Let's not do the J6 thing right now. Because I think
I agree with you. I'm just saying.
I want to go back to Charlie Kirk.
I do agree.
Give me 2 reasons why you think it's an inside job or someone from a foreign actor state may be involved in that. And you may not even believe anything.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that it's an inside job. I don't think that I don't think it's one of those Israeli pager explosions in the microphone. You can talk about the microphone, the shirt moving and the microphone moving. If the microphone or anywhere around the microphone gets hit by a projectile that's traveling as fast as that projectile is traveling, the shirt is going to move, the microphone is going to move. So that's my beliefs. That's what I think. That's based on ballistics. That's based on what I know about projectiles and how they travel, how fast they travel. The reason that you hear the shot is because it's a sonic boom. It's traveling faster than the speed of sound. And so you hear that sonic boom when it takes off. So I just, I can't in my mind, and again, maybe I'm just not as versed on this MK Ultra stuff, honestly, but I can't fathom that a 20-something-year-old kid who has life to live, who allegedly has, a lover, a friend, somebody that you want to live for, you can convince them to give up the rest of their life and possibly give up their life in order to be a patsy and a fall guy for somebody. I think
But
that,
hold on. So your argument is, and I understand it. We're on the same team here. But are you saying the JFK thing wasn't an inside, and do you believe Lee Harvey Oswald was the only shooter?
I do not believe that Lee Harvey was the only shooter.
Okay, so hold on. How can you argue that we don't have patsies when in fact we had a patsy named Lee Harvey Oswald?
I didn't say we don't have patsies. I said that they didn't, because Lee Harvey, even though he was a patsy, as far as being his belief that he was the only shooter, or not even I don't even think he believed he was the only shooter. The difference being Lee Harvey had a hatred for the government, had a hatred for the John F. Kennedy. He was a Castro communist. So he was a willing guy. He was a willing guy that,
Same as Crooks. He hated Trump. He
if
had a hate for the country. He dated a furry. So I'm trying to determine what are the difference here. I mean, are both patsies?
Yeah, honestly, we're just, it's a situation where we're just going to have to agree to disagree because, again, based on ballistics, based on what I knew about projectiles and how they act when they hit the body, back and to the left is a frontal shot.
I'm thinking different. Thinking different.
And there are plenty of people that, if we really want to go down the JFK rabbit hole, I got a bunch of stuff I can come up with because
that George Bush Sr. was there when that occurred. He worked for CIA.
Sure was.
Well, you also know that George Bush Sr. his son was supposed to have lunch with Reagan shooter's brother the very next day. So there's a lot of stuff you can look at. I just, I look at a lot of things that went on in the government at that time, and I've watched a lot of stuff and I've researched a lot of stuff. You got Lyndon B. Johnson, his wife, Lady Bird, her family was in the development of Huey helicopters. And JFK was about to say, you know what? Vietnam is not good for us. And that would have cost a lot of money for that family. And I think that the government was tired of how he was reacting to the world stage. And
so help me. Let's go back to Charlie Kirk. What are your three questions you have on that whole thing? And somebody in there asked why we changed the subject. We don't have a script, guys. We're talking about the Trump assassination attempt. And I think the government has knowledge of all the above. And I think the JFK thing is fitting for all the conversation. So we're all over the map.
Yeah, we're all over the map. I think I actually disagree a little bit with Steve. And I respect I absolutely respect your opinions too. But I really do think that it's very easy to threaten and coerce a young man into doing what you want them to do. If you've never been in trouble before, if you put their family at risk, or you say, hey, if you don't do this, then A, B, and C is going to happen. Oh, and your girlfriend, this will happen to her and her family. I think that is absolutely possible for somebody to do. I don't think that, like I said, from the vantage point, I don't think that this was what somebody, actually what I believe though, to be honest with you, is I think that the person on the building was a decoy. That's what I believe. The person could have easily shot or pew-pewed in the air or misdirectioned it, whatever, and it could have been done from under the tent because of the way the vantage point looked. It doesn't seem possible that bullet would have traveled from that distance, and the way the tent was and with all the people in front right there, I just don't see it. I feel like this was a more close range situation, in my opinion. I believe that all the people behind that were doing their little hand gestures and and a guy doing the hand gestures actually saying sniper behind him. I think that was all staged, a part of the situation, so that if people were recording, they can see him on record doing it. But I do believe that the man to his direct right had a lot to do with the situation. And then that video that surfaced, which wasn't doctored, in my opinion, because I see a lot of video that wasn't doctored. It was actually straight off the cell phone, sent into whomever they sent it into. It shows that hand gesture where they're like passing something on to another person that's there, and then they're running off the scene. Now, in my opinion, I think that he would have been a political martyr. Okay, I think that there was a reason for him to do that, because in the time after that, I've never seen a person like Charlie Kirk get such an overwhelming, like, funeral procession, and it's almost as if he was the vice president or something.
Let me address the comments real quick, and the word you're trying to get out. I've seen a lot of state funerals. That was equal to a state funeral.
A state funeral
happened.
Exactly.
It was,
right. I agree.
Disrespectful to the previous people who earned a state funeral.
Right. Agreed.
With, dignitaries, presidents, service members, and et cetera. But hold on, Steve. Let Healthy answer first. You and I have worked these crime scenes. Thousands of them. You have an unaliving, intentional, by a sniper. Steve, are you going to let the Charlie Kirk team take down the damn cameras, remove SIM cards? That's not AI. I watched that play out in real time doing the news. They're removing all the evidence, Steve, from a crime scene. How do you explain that? That doesn't happen, Steve.
No, I agree with you. It shouldn't happen. But I will also say that we're talking about a small-time college campus.
Oh, no. These weren't the cops. These were Charlie Kirk's people.
I'm talking about the law enforcement's response to that. There's not enough training that goes on in small-time agencies to. I don't think.
I'm not going to let you do it. I'm not going to let you do that.
You asked for my opinion.
Okay, but I'm not going to let you blame it on the
opinion.
cops. Charlie Kirk's security team, you bragged about them. They're top notch. They're secured. They're trained. They've been through these events.
I completely understand that.
Steve, why are you going, as all of those accolades that you get that security team, go pull down evidence from your Protect These crime scene?
Could not have been done. And they should have been put in handcuffs. Why weren't they? Why doesn't a law enforcement agency say, no, you're not going to tear this down? They allowed it to happen. So going back to my question, was this an inside job and is it a setup? Or these guys are not as trained and thorough as what we've bragged them to be, and they're all pieces of shit? No, I think they're very thorough. They did exactly what they were taught and trained to do. There's a reason they did.
And you're not trained to remove crime scene items.
You don't think they were? You don't think they were trained? You don't think they were trained to take all that stuff down? You don't think the guy that's in charge of it said, absolutely go get that stuff?
Absolutely not. Number one, it's a felony. Number two, it's a murder.
So why haven't they been arrested? Why were they not arrested then? That's what I'm saying. Why were they not put in handcuffs right then? You're trying to tear this down. And the cops allowed it to happen because they didn't know any better.
Hold on. Before we go any further, Steve and I will always be friends. We're going through. I can get spicy, and I've made my mind up. Steve and I even text before the show. This is going to get spicy. So Steve and I will never not be friends. Healthy down here. I think some of his views are great, but I think some of them are just pure psychotic. But he's my new friend.
Can be.
And we're going to be friends today and tomorrow. So
appreciate
it. Nothing's changed.
Yeah, we're not.
I didn't want to comment on
either one of these guys.
No. Steve and Jamie, you're good. So you made a comment earlier about them paving over. Let me just give you a brief, real short, quick story about what I feel about that. So I'm a documentarian. I'm working on a case from 1984 where my client lost 4 siblings and a 16-year-old cousin to a house fire in Augusta, Arkansas. Okay. Now, after 40 years, he was unable to find out who did it, how it happened, what the motive, and then 13 months, I figured it all out. Okay. Now, the crazy thing about this is that the same thing that you're talking about, guess what? This was a crime scene. I'm not going to go too much into it because it's in a documentary. I would love you guys to see it when it's done. But put it this way. They dug it all up and guess what? They covered it over with soil. Now, what that tells me is that when there's things happening like that, that's guilt. You're covering up evidence. You're getting rid of evidence and you're covering it up with new soil. Okay. They did this because they knew that if all this stuff was there, within 72 hours of people trying to go out there and get the evidence what they needed, it was going to be a lock and shut case. They found a hat that didn't belong to the family in there. They found broken bottles from Molotovs that could have probably had fingerprints. There's a lot of stuff that could have been found on that property, but instead they dug it up. Now I ask you, of all the house fires that have occurred in this town, why was this the only house that they dug up? All the other houses are still standing that are burnt. You see?
I mean, again,
so when you,
I can't tell you that you're wrong. I'm not, trust me, I'm not trying to defend Charlie Kirk's team. I'm not trying to defend them at all. What they did was illegal as far as tearing that stuff down. And people, again, you have to understand that something went wrong for sure. Because somebody asked in the comments, why was the Secret Service or the Secret Service should have been on top of that building? I do small time security stuff, and we would have eaten that place alive as far as the buildings and everything. I would have owned all of that space. My guys would have owned all of that space. This never would have. That was the perfect platform for this to occur. And I've seen people make far better shots with far more difficult backdrops. So, and I'm not talking about professional people. I'm talking about just people that know how to use a firearm or, a pew-pew. So I'm not defending them at all. And I agree with you. Trust me, I still watch the news, the stuff that happens locally here. And I have questions every day about why people are doing what they're doing and how things are being handled. So I 100% understand where you're coming from. Like Jamie, there's things that you say that I can't disagree with because
I just feel like we're flirting on the line of corruption, right? We're flirting on the line of corruption and cover up when we see things like that.
A lot. Yeah, you see that.
Leslie says live in Chicago, you'll get an education really quick.
Right. Yeah.
I bet.
I mean, but we see this a lot in small town America. Cover-ups that go completely swept under the rug and will never be reopened and never, because somebody was involved or something, somebody knew something. And so I agree with you 100%. I mean, there's places out there that absolutely.
I don't mean to cut you off, Steve. I don't mean to cut you off, but Jamie, you see that comment right there in the bottom from Robin Tay? One of his guys took the necklace too. That is what I'm talking about. You see that.
That's that elite security team he has.
Right. Because why are you taking his necklace? Right? It's part of the evidence. It's on his body. Like, leave it there. Why are you taking it?
And I don't know if you were here when I first started either, but, I told Jamie, I said, I don't think for a second that this guy was by himself as far as the planning and the execution of this. I just believed his shot was the fatal shot. I don't think that there was anybody else that took a shot. I'm not saying that there's not people involved further down the line. I just don't think.
Let me open up another can of whip ass.
Let's go.
Let's move over to Israel. Our good friend Benjamin Netanyahu, who I think is we're getting a little political. If you guys are okay with it, let me know. And if you're not, because Healthy, we don't do politics. We don't do politics here. This is our really first night, Steve, right? Of actually even this is part of the crime. So I'm not going political. I'll take back what I said about Nick.
I can't do politics under this profile anyway, so we're good.
Oh, we'll all get in a fight. But here's the deal. Let me throw this out. I'm telling you, Steve and Healthy, I'll take the oath. God is my witness. What I'm about to put down is true. There's an individual that worked at an explosive company that built materials. And I can't give you the scientific name for this material, but it was like TNT on steroids. All it took was a very small amount that would go in a pager.
Yep.
And you down that pager and click, boom, it's going to blow you up. That's factual. Steve, that happened in Iran, right? Israel and Mossad owned a pager company for almost 7 years. They developed this material, and boom, there goes the pagers. Matter of fact, Netanyahu gave the president, Donald Trump, a golden pager as a joke recently.
Yeah, Lebanon. It occurred in Lebanon.
Because I know your answer to this, Steve, and I'm going to set you up for another spicy argument because you don't believe in the exploding microphone. But Healthy, I'm going to ask you. There's a guy that's connected to all of this. Israel ties. Steve, I don't know if you believe, but I earnestly believe Israel is involved in Charlie Kirk's case. They were money denied. They were a meeting that occurred that Charlie Kirk says no to Benjamin Netanyahu, called him the following day, begging him to come back, said he would make Charlie a trillionaire, basically, and blow his show up. Steve, is there a remote possibility this production of this explosive material was placed into a Rode microphone and detonated?
I don't believe that. I mean, I'm not saying that it doesn't happen because I watched Lebanon. I watched military people with pagers unalived. So I know that it occurs. I'm saying in this instance, I don't believe that. Could somebody do this? Absolutely. We could do this to, the cell phone that we're all sitting here talking to right now. I just don't think it occurred in this instance.
Healthy, what's your thought on that?
I had a retort. I was going to ask you, what is our relationship with Israel? What is our political relationship with Israel?
We're yes men.
Okay. So, in my opinion, do I think that could have happened? 100%. And the simple fact that you're taking the necklace off of him and then you're passing a device hand in hand to another person to quite possibly get it out of line of sight or the crime area, it does make you ask a lot of questions. I don't think that video was AI'd. You're not going to AI about 17, 18 seconds of full movement while people are in the background running for their lives just to show somebody switch hands in hands. I don't think that was possible. I think that was all live video. Is it possible? 100%. Microphone? 100%. In fact, there is a movie where they did it, right? And this is why I'm trying to say, I think all of this intelligence and people that have worked and then maybe possibly being in the movie thing, because we know who runs the film industry as well.
It's called central casting. Google it.
Exactly.
And
right?
by the way, Donald Trump has used that title, I think, 8 or 9 times since January being sworn in. Well, they're right out of central casting. His words, not mine.
Right. I think it's possible. I don't want to pull it out. Okay, I'm gonna be open-minded to it. I'm open-minded to what Steve said too. If the kid was that good and he was able to get that through that little tent flap or whatever to hit specifically in that area, hey, then you're pretty good at what you do.
Well,
but I will say though, there is a chance that the alternative is possible as well. And like I said, anything can happen. If why would we have to do hand signals? To think of it like this: if somebody was to detonate that, let's say it was somebody in a crowd that would detonate it.
Hold on, okay. Steve has his hand up. Come on, I interrupted you guys.
We use hand signals all the time in the protection details that I do because it's something that only we know.
Mm-hmm.
I just got this. I didn't get a bad boy thing, but something popped up on my thing. We use hand signals all the time, so it's only known by our group, so that we can move people around where we need them, so that we can inform them of who we want them to look at, who were watching in a crowd. So I'm not saying I'm not negating what you're saying. I'm just saying that there are reasons for hand signals. It's something we use. I mean, it's just
no. I get that.
Hold on,
I get that. But
I have a hand up.
Go ahead.
Can I chime in on that?
Absolutely.
Guys, fact check me on this. Go watch the videos. Go watch. Don't believe me. Go watch the video. The security guy talking about that. Steve, he debunked the hand signal thing. They didn't give any hand signals.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, I think
So
you're
what was the
hard-pressed.
signal for?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Right.
are they hand signals? We don't know that they're hand signals.
They look like a hand signal.
Well, the one guy in the back though, somebody actually said that the guy in the back said sniper. The hand signal was for sniper, right? But what I'm thinking is that the guy that was to his right, he did a hand signal that may have said, okay, I mean, like, could have been a calculated effort. Could they have had the guy shoot in the air while the other person detonated at the same time? Is that possible? Absolutely.
You could have been flicking a booger, for God's sakes.
Exactly. The travel of sound is different. So as soon as he heard the sound, he could have clicked the button. That could have incited everything. That could have been what taken him out.
Yeah, but I will tell you this, and you can talk to. I mean, you can look it up because there's plenty of experts that have talked about it. I am no expert on this kind of thing, but I will tell you that I 100% believe, because of the guys that I work with and the things that we do, that was not a difficult shot. It really, that distance, that was not a difficult shot. When you're looking at a human body, that is not a difficult shot at all. And so,
what was the distance?
It was 100 yards. I mean, it was really within the 100 yards. I mean, so you're talking, I mean, I like I told Jamie earlier, and I don't know if you were here listening when I said it, but I think he missed. I think he missed where he was aiming. I'll be 100% honest with you that. I think he missed what he was aiming at, because I think he fully intended for a headshot there. Why wouldn't you? That's
if he would have done that, he would have done that. He would have took out the man behind him.
Well, I mean, again, it's all about ballistics and how that projectile is going to travel. I agree. A headshot would definitely, I think, travel through the body for sure. But I think he missed. I think his intention was, I mean, because you have, if your intent is to unalive somebody, you can't guarantee a body shot is going to do that. And so I think he missed.
I may have missed y'all conversation about the autopsy. Was there an autopsy done?
Oh, I'm sure there was. I haven't seen.
All right, stop it, man. I know what you're doing. You're setting us up.
All right.
Autopsy.
I digress.
Well, hold on for a minute. No, we're not digressing. Steve, let me ask you a question. I know that JD Vance, and I happen to like JD. I think he's a good person. I'll leave the politics out of it. Steve, how many times, other than John F. Kennedy, have you seen our nation's Air Force Two respond so quickly to a crime scene and literally take a body from a medical examiner and fly it the hell out of there?
Well, I mean, it hasn't happened.
Be fair.
The answer,
be fair.
The answer is it hasn't happened. And why it happened?
It happened with Kennedy, I think.
Well, no, because Air Force One was on the ground. So Air Force One was on the ground in Dallas. That they immediately moved him from the hospital straight to that airplane.
But how do you explain this Charlie Kirk connection with the vice president? And I know they were friends.
Yeah,
so that could be explained away. But Steve, you don't go take a body from a medical examiner. It's state law.
Again, I'm not going to tell you there's not a lot that's I won't say wrong. There's not a lot that isn't suspicious about some of this stuff. Again, to me, that's because Charlie Kirk was a very political figure. I mean, he is the very reason, as far as I'm concerned, that Donald Trump won that election.
Had to hear the president.
He was, yes. And so
Again,
to me, that's in my opinion, that is a president of the United States that said, JD, go get him. To me, that's out of respect for who he was, for what impact he played in the election. And again, I'm not saying that it doesn't become suspicious, because we can talk about a plane that left, Utah within hours of the shooting that people claim, it had the real shooter on it and they were flown out of there. And so there's plenty of it that's suspicious with it. I just think Air Force Two is a out of respect from a president who understood 100% that man got him elected.
All right, let's go to healthy, because I agree with you, but let me throw another wrench in. Don't get me started on Las Vegas and that mass shooting, or that mass event. And let me tell you something. They were blacked out helicopters flying during the Vegas event that are approved on Flight Tracker. So I don't know. There's so many questions, Steve. Healthy, chime in, because you've been waiting patiently.
Yeah. Political martyr. Definitely helped him win the campaign, the presidency. But again, I've never seen so many attempts on someone's life. And on top of that, people that are connected to that person as well, because everybody knows there's a connection of Erica Kirk and Trump and international and all that. I mean, that's all out there, right? But there's a connection between the Kirks and obviously the Trumps, and it makes him look good. But all of this, right? There's so many attempts on this man's life, and he wins the presidency. It just makes you question a lot. It makes you really want to dig deep.
Hold on. We're gonna go really deep now. And Steve, I know you're gonna agree with me this. Joe Biden won the damn election from his basement and not even campaigning. He had fake crowds. So
right.
It's both sides, healthy.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying though, it's people weren't, he didn't have to go out, and if he didn't have to go out and do these campaigns or whatever, I get it. I think that because I heard Steve earlier, like, why didn't we have them in arenas? Well, that may have been a financial decision. Because when you have in big arenas, you're spending big money, but you having them outdoors, you're saving a lot of revenue by doing it outdoors. So that may have been the reason why he did more outdoors, like the desert and everywhere he's gone. It's always been outdoors because it's actually less cost effective, or it's cost effective to be outside to do stages and stuff than it is to be actually in an arena. You're paying a lot of money for that.
In all fairness, wasn't he filling up the inside arenas, Steve, and they had him keep them outside? Am I wrong on that?
Yeah,
a couple of them.
And again, I completely understand the want to be amongst the people. I mean, he did a rally at Sanford Airport on the tarmac.
Right.
In Sanford, Florida. So I completely understand wanting to be amongst the people out there. Honestly, how many times have we seen him use a ballistic shield in front of him? I mean, the only times that I've seen it recently are July 4th and a couple of other things. But, rarely have we seen him from behind a bulletproof glass. Because he's that headstrong, I think. And just, he's one of those guys that just says, bring it on. And I think that's ignorant as far as I'm concerned, because again, as a protection guy,
that's Trump's ego. That's all ego.
It's exactly what it is.
And real quick, Steve,
I prefer the opposite.
Real quick, Kimberly, don't get me started on Erica Kirk. Kimberly says, I'm sorry, she was nobody, and Charlie is unalived, and now they push her down. Don't even get me started on that blonde bimbo who is absolutely fake. And Steve, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I want to answer some of these questions. I'm going to leave this question for you. I don't even know if I should even ask this. I'm not going to get started on Erica Kirk because that's a whole different rabbit hole, Steve. I think she worked for some type of quote unquote, and I'm doing air quotes, an agency before she met Charlie. I think the e-files are going to, she's involved, she is tied into the e-files through people that recruited her for a company in New York. I could go down the whole road with Erica Kirk, but I'm going to tell you something, Steve. I don't know what you think about her. Healthy, I don't know what you think about her. She's a piece of human scum, and she's a grifter.
Yeah, I don't have an opinion on her. I really don't. I mean, I didn't know anything about her beforehand. I can tell you that I probably know exactly as much about her now. I really don't have an opinion on who she is or what she's become, simply because I don't follow that. I'm not, the most I knew about Charlie Kirk was watching YouTube videos of him debating people about Christianity, about politics, about his perspective on things that go on in the country and how all of us choose at times to be victims of something. And him, to me, people like Charlie Kirk are important because they stir the pot. And I think that's essential for us to have healthy debate is right here with us. I think that is essential for us to debate things in this country rather than be engineered by media and pointing us in a direction. I think that personally to sit down with people like he did and talk about things. So with her, I don't have an opinion about her because I don't follow her. She's not somebody that I bat an eye at, to be honest with you, because I don't care. It's not that, I think she's bad or she's good either way. I don't have an opinion of her.
And I do care, and I'm going to let Healthy chime in. Steve, I do care, and here's why I care. We utilized United States government assets to go out and pick the body of Charlie Kirk up, which I think was improper based on the medical examiner's behalf. They gave him pretty much a state funeral, Steve, using government resources along with private donations through Turning Point USA. But here's somebody asked, well, what's wrong with Erica Kirk? I'm going to tell you something. If you go back in history and you look at that video, that was staged. It was a prop. It was used for donations by Erica Kirk of her rubbing her dead husband's hand. Come on. It was staged.
Yeah, that's crazy.
She's a piece of crap.
Yeah,
she's about the money.
I will respond. Somebody said in there that she was on the show Summer House trying to get famous. That was all before she ever met Charlie Kirk. So
she was also in the pageant, in Trump's pageant at one point.
Oh yeah, she had, she has her own business. She had a lot of things going beforehand.
Wait a minute, Steve. I can't. I'm going to hold you to the fire. It's nothing about her business. She was in the Trump orbit.
What I'm saying is she, prior to Charlie, it's not like she was nobody before Charlie. I'm not going to tell you that she didn't use this as a stepping stone. I'm not going to say that at all. I don't follow her enough to really care what she does as far as this goes because, the organization itself, they have the right to choose who they want to lead them. I just choose not to pay attention to it. Again, we all have our opinions on things. And, again, being on college campuses, 100% agree with. I think that's the level where we talked a lot about indoctrination. I think that's the level where you really have to reach out to kids and kind of open their minds a little bit. Not that you can change their minds, not that you're ever going to change their minds, but when you have, trust me, I watched Charlie Kirk with the things that he did, and he was never disrespectful to anybody. He was never, but he was there to counterpoint and bring something to you to say, okay, but here's what I see. You don't have to agree with me. He never asked anybody to agree with him.
We got all of that, but here's the deal.
But as far as she goes, I don't, like I said, I'm not a follower of her. I don't,
Last question, Steve. I got to ask you, and Healthy, I want you to chime into this very pointed question.
Okay.
Couple parts to the question. Number one, do you or have you listened to Candace Owens regarding this Charlie Kirk case? That's the first question. Number two, do you like her? I hate her. I think.
Can I answer first? Can I answer first?
Hold on. Last question. Last question. Have you heard some of the liable comments that Candace Owens, in my opinion, she's liable for a lot of comments pertaining to Erica Kirk, pertaining to the unaliving of Charlie. Last question. Have there been any lawsuits filed by Erica Kirk against Candace Owens for libel?
Let me
first.
Listen, first of all, at one point, I could not stand Candace Owens, okay? I'm telling you right now, I could not stand her. I thought she was annoying to listen to. I thought that, she had her own opinion, but she was just so on her page. It was her page, her go, her way, that's it. Her best friend gets unalived, and there was a switch. There was a switch that went off, and a lot of what she's saying makes a lot of sense. And no, you're not going to see a lawsuit from Erica to her because she knows that was her husband's best friend. They started that together. They like that when the whole turning point thing. And again, I didn't like Charlie Kirk neither, but I also don't believe that he deserved that. Number one.
Hold on. Stick to the questions.
No, I'm just saying. I am. But no, they started. Yeah, they started that.
Reliable.
Absolutely not. That was her friend. That's her friend. She's speaking out on her friend. She's trying to make sure. Because here's the thing. A lot of people can look at it different ways. She's now in a podcast realm, right? So yeah, maybe she's making her money off the podcast so they can say, oh, maybe she's using her best friend to make her money, whatever. I get it. But I think that she's being 100% honest. She's speaking on stuff that she may have never spoke before. She's pointing out things that people may not be paying attention to, right? And specifically against her friend. Now, most times, she wouldn't have to do that if she didn't know something deep down.
You're getting way off topic.
No, I'm not. My
question is, hold on. If I say, hey, Healthy, you drove a van full of illegals and did A, B, and C to them, and that's absolutely false, you're probably going to sue me for libel. Has she been sued? And if not, why is she not being sued?
She hasn't been sued. She's not going to be sued because once again, the wife knows that was his best friend, and she's actually speaking up. Listen,
truth.
Listen,
let's just say truth.
The truth is she's pointing out the relationship between Charlie Kirk and International.
No.
She said it on live.
Give it a try.
Well, here's what I'll tell you. First of all, I used to watch Candace Owens all the time, and the reason being is because her point. My problem with our political system is we have Candace would put it on point because Candace is a black female who has
stay with the answer to the question.
I'm just explaining to you why I watched her because you asked
know what she is and who she is. Why has she not been sued, Steve Strickland?
Well, I tell you exactly why she hasn't been sued, and it's not because she's friends with Charlie Kirk. He's not being sued because then the government is opened up to discovery, and the government doesn't want to prove her wrong because they don't want everybody to know exactly the things that have happened. So I'm not saying the government is covering up anything. What I'm saying is the points that Candace is making, the government doesn't want to have to give over their evidence to prove her wrong.
Not necessarily the government.
Wrong.
She wouldn't be suing the government.
But even
Erica Kirk would be suing her for liable statements if it were untrue.
Right. But I don't think so. Because again, it's all part of evidence, or not evidentiary value, but discovery. It's all discovery.
Well, she got sued by his head of security because essentially the suit claims that Owens falsely implicated him in a government conspiracy regarding Kirk's assassination.
Correct.
So that actually did happen. However, I don't think there's going to be any weight to it because the reason why that Erica is not going to do it is because she knows that she's speaking the truth. See, Erica's going to play both sides. Okay, she's gonna play both sides. She's not gonna sue Candace for anything that she's saying because she knows that what she's saying is out of the love of her husband. Number one, right? We're all still human. No. We're all still human.
Let's go back to the question. If I accused either one of you of doing something horrible, let's just put it on record. Hey, Strickland, I think you unalived that guy that's been missing for 3 years. I know that your car was there. I heard from 3 sources that you did it. Steve, that's untrue. And you're going to tell me to shut up or you're going to sue me if I continue. Here's my point. Candace Owens continues to put it out that Erica Kirk is some way involved in Charlie's assassination. Her words, not mine. And she hasn't been sued. Here's my opinion.
This benefits her.
If you're not being sued, here's the deal. I can't sue you for slander or libel if it's true. And that's where I was going with that, Steve. I know you agree with me. I think we agree, but we're just not hitting it right.
Just to be honest, though, Candace speaking about her makes her money. But it makes her relative.
But I understand that. But you can't go out and accuse people of being involved in your husband's unaliving without some type of civil consequences.
Well, here's my thing. If you tell me that I did something, do you have footage? Do you have evidence? Do you have footage?
Well,
she has footage.
We do have footage. We have footage of him getting his neck blown out.
But what?
No. I'm talking about when you're using the example of saying that me and Steve did something. Do you have footage of us doing that actual crime? You got to understand. She's got footage.
I have sources, which is what she uses a lot.
But she doesn't have evidence. Yeah, she hasn't shown any real evidence of Erica's involvement.
Correct.
So
okay. So the thing of the involvement, though, I get it. I get what you're saying now in regards to Erica's involvement. That would be speculation, 100%. However, it wouldn't be the first time that somebody has been involved in something to get a political boost in their career. But I'm just saying.
I think. I mean, my point is just that.
Do I think she would offer husband? Absolutely not.
Well, yeah, and Erica and the government and the people around this, they don't want. I mean, there's still a trial going on. So they don't want to tip their hand and they don't want to have to prove, because then they have to come in and go, okay, I'm suing you. And the judge is going to go, okay, prove her wrong. And then they're going to present all this evidence. And then the world's going to know everything, whatever it is that happened. And, it's not prudent for Erica or anybody else that's involved in this.
Right. It's not going to be the benefit of the political realm if she was to share everything that was given to her. Because I saw somebody in the thing, no one believes Candace's footage or evidence. Candace wasn't there. This evidence was sent to her. These are all direct evidence sent to her, right? And these are all from good sources. Think about it. Or good sources. Nobody's sitting there at a computer trying to sit there and AI do any of this. These are coming directly, immediately after they're downloaded. So I just want to put that out there because we said a lot of stuff about AI and video rendering. If anybody knows about video rendering, it's going to be me. And I know how much work goes into it. And it's very time consuming. She had these videos almost instantaneously, people. So all I'm going to say is this.
I want to play this real quick, and we're going to open this thing up for questions here in a moment. But listen really intently to this. This is Candace Owens. She's talking about Charlie Kirk turning his phone off every Saturday because of a certain reason and religion. He wasn't practicing it, but he respected that religion. He religiously would turn his phone off on Saturday. Take a listen, chime in, let me know what you think.
Okay. Saturdays, Charlie turns his phone off. And yeah, on that particular Saturday, he didn't because Erica, I don't know, had another one of these visions.
So we're talking about the Butler PA case.
Tell us about how do you find out about this happening? I keep asking everybody this.
Yeah.
Tell us where your initial reaction was that night.
It was a really strange day. I usually turn my phone off on Saturdays. I honor the Shabbat. And I'm not
That's how she knows.
That we Christians do. And yet I had my phone on because I was trying to help make J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the United States. So had some calls to make. Let's just put it that way.
We'll put it that way.
And
yeah.
so my phone was on, and Erica, my wife, was like, "Yeah, I think God wants you to have your phone on today." I was like, "Okay, sure." So we went down to our complex has this big gym. I had my daughter in my arms, and I just like turned to the television.
You can come out. That's it.
And because I saw
That's it. You can.
That makes me want to. I would like to throw up at Erica Kirk. This is Charlie words. I'll post the video. It's his words, not mine. You just heard it. Erica said, "Well, God wants you to have your phone on." Give me a freaking break.
No.
Give me a break.
What are we to
Every
take from
time
that?
something doesn't meet your narrative, Erica, you throw God into the mix. Let me tell you something. God didn't care if he turned his phone on or off. And Steve, that's why I have zero respect for that blonde bimbo who's grifting off of the good people that are donating to Turning Point USA. God told him to turn the phone on. Give me a break.
I mean,
No, listen.
it is what it is. I don't, you know, the Lord works in mysterious ways. I'm just going to have to disagree with you because I know people that believe 100% that the reason I didn't step out that door today is because so-and-so. I'll tell you this, and I won't mention names, but there's an individual, because my passion is PTSD, there's an individual who's a military and law enforcement guy that called a friend on Friday, and the friend didn't answer the phone. And on Saturday, the cop went to a parking lot in a Walmart. He put both of the windows down so that people would hear the gunshot, and he planned on unaliving himself right there when that person called him.
See, that has nothing to do with Erica Kirk. Every time she's confronted with something,
we're not talking about every time. We're talking about this time, though.
God suggested we do this. I'm not doubting your PTSD story.
No, I'm not. But I'm not going to tell you that
Erica Kirk.
God doesn't have conversations.
Jesus.
Well, but I'm not going to tell you that God doesn't have conversations with people.
I don't doubt that, and I believe that. But every time she's put under pressure, Steve, well, it was God's will. Give me a break.
See,
Sorry.
so here's the thing. As a man that also believes in God, I do toe the line certain things though, right? Because I also live righteous. There was a time that I didn't go to church. I lived righteous without going to church. That just means that I'm not on the street or doing anything, no bullshit. I live righteously, right? And there's plenty of people in the world that don't believe in God that live righteously. But I will say this, okay? I always have a problem when people use religion as an excuse for something else, right? Because I do read the book, okay? When I have the ability to read it, I will read it. However, do not use my religion as your excuse for you to either do something or try to repent from doing something afterwards. So here's my thing with that. God will help direct me in a lot of ways that he needs to help direct me, okay? But he's not going to tell me on what to do with my phone, okay? He won't do that. Or maybe I see a number and it just so happens that that's divine intervention and I have to answer that call. Ain't that right, J Crime? So there's a lot of things that can happen that people would suggest is God's will.
Yeah, but this
However,
is the point too. I'm going to cut you off too.
However, I don't
Hold
think.
on. I'm going to cut you off for a minute. I understand that, and I think the chat understands that. Here's the deal, and someone put it in the chat very eloquently. Erica Kirk uses Jesus as a cop-out for bullshit.
I agree.
That's my problem.
I do agree with
Using
that.
Jesus and God because you're under fire and under pressure.
I do agree with that, right? And just to be fair to the chat and everybody that's watching, whether inside or on the outside, I will say this, right? Because religion is a very touchy subject. Everybody should be able to believe in what they believe in my opinion. Okay. But yes, okay, you cannot use religion as a cushion. You do not use it sparingly, right? So if you're going to live by it, you live by it. You abide by it. However, do not use it as an excuse for any bad behavior or anything that you do in life, because that's not what it's for. So I do agree with you, Jamie. No, I don't do that. I couldn't do that. I don't think that's right. Just stand on your own. And obviously do not go to Jesus in speech when you can't answer a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
You hit it on the head. And Steve, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're not bothering me, man.
No, well, but
Yeah.
Let me tell you, if you don't mind, can you tell that story uninterrupted? I want to interrupt you this time. I was trying to get to the point of Erica. What you put down, a lot of people need to hear, Steve.
No, this guy was a military guy. Came back home, was top-notch law enforcement as far as I'm concerned. From hearing his story and everything that I've seen, his interviews and stuff like that. Got into a bad situation at work where, for instance, I'll tell you one thing. He on video, because everybody's got body cams these days. He told a guy, "I will effing kill you. I will effing unalive you." And the guy deserved it. I mean, he's in a fight for his life, and that's what he told this guy. And the agency hemmed him up on that because they said, "Oh, it won't look good on the news if we release all of this stuff because of things that have happened in the country." So got in a bad way and was at the bottom of a bottle. And Friday he called this guy, and just a real good friend of his, and wanted to talk, and the guy didn't answer the phone. And Saturday he went to a Walmart parking lot, opened up both windows on the front of the car so that somebody would hear the shot and he wouldn't, be sitting there for days, and was ready to do what he had to do to end it. And his phone rang, and it was the guy from the day before, and he said, "Hey man, sorry I missed your call yesterday. It was blah, 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 whatever was going on. And can we meet? Can we go grab some coffee or something?" And that saved that man's life. And I believe 100% that, like Healthy Debate said, divine intervention. That guy probably felt something in his heart. Man, I feel bad for not calling him, talking to him yesterday. And I think God said, "Hey, give him a shout. Give him a call back right now." And he's here today because of it. So, I mean, it's just one of those things that, I believe wholeheartedly that God will use other people in your life because he's trying to get through to you. And obviously it hasn't worked.
Right.
And this man was ready to end it all. And trust me, for what he went through in war and at home, all he wanted was to end the pain. That's all it is the pain. I want this pain to be done. It's not a selfish act. It's I'm tired of hurting so bad. And that's what happened. And I 100% believe God said, "Look, I can't get a hold of this guy, but you can. You didn't answer his call yesterday. That's that little thing in your gut that went, man, I forgot to talk to him yesterday." And boom,
I'm thoroughly convinced. Had it not been for God, I think I should have been unalived. I know twice on the job.
Right.
I was taken hostage twice at what do you call that? The pew pew thing at my head. But in my civilian life, there's no way I should be walking the face of the earth had it not been for God. And I'm going to tell you something. This is how good he is. Married once, married twice. I am now married for my third and final time. I don't know how my wife put up with me. God.
Yeah. I got shot at twice on duty. I got shot at. And once was like, I was 15 feet away from the guy. How he missed me through the window, I couldn't tell you. Well, I can tell you. I can tell you how he missed me. But yeah, I mean, the same thing. I mean, I haven't, we haven't had an episode where I've shared everything that has gone through in my life and my career and the dark places but I will tell you, if it weren't for my faith, for my family, and for one friend who reached out and said, "How are you doing?" Nobody in all in the situation I was in, not one person, and a bunch of people knew I was going through stuff. Not one person said, "How are you doing?" until he called me. And that changed, and like I said, my family, for sure, 100%. My faith.
That resonates with me.
But yeah, I mean, but that one friend that reached out And he's not the sole reason. Again, like I said, faith and family. If it weren't for that, I've been in some dark places. I was in the planning stages.
Yeah.
So it was it's heartbreaking to see something like that. And so that's the hand of God reaching out. And so I think,
Facts.
I'm not condoning. Again, I don't follow Erica Kirk at all. Like I couldn't tell you anything that she's done since the funeral, because I watched the funeral just because I felt in my heart that he deserved that. But so I don't watch her. So I don't understand anything she does on one side or the other. I don't know what she says. So I'm not condoning her using anything like that. I just know that in my own life and the lives of people that I've seen where, like Jamie said, there's no reason that this person should be walking around at all. And they are. And so, that's where I know religion is touchy, but.
Healthy.
Yeah.
I think we made a new friend with you tonight.
I appreciate it. I was going to say what Steve would just said. It resonated with me when I was younger. Me and my sister were walking to school, and a gentleman came outside and started shooting at the guy that was running down the street. So I pushed my sister into the bushes, and then the guy that was running down the street towards me, he cut into the street. So when he cut in the street, the guy that was shooting shot me 3 times. I've been shot in the knee, shot in the back, and shot in the head. So I absolutely understand.
Yeah.
That I had a position here.
It happens.
Yeah. I fell off the side of a mountain.
Hold on for a minute. A lot of questions, Steve. Got a lot of people waiting. Let's do this. Number one, the 3 of us are leaving here as friends. And I want to thank you guys for the debate. I want to thank you guys for the respect. We all disagreed. I even disagreed with Steve tonight. He disagreed with me. And we are friends. So our new friend, Healthy, thank you for the wholesome debate and joining in. I think you brought a lot to the table, Steve. He asked a lot of hard questions. He has very strong opinions. But here's what I want to do, guys, before it gets any later. I want to start bringing people up because I know there are a lot of people in the queue. There's a lot of questions. But here's the deal. And you know us, we never disrespect the community. Come up and ask your question, and I'm going to drop you, and we're going to rotate people for the next 15 or 20 minutes. So I'm not just dropping you down to be mean or didn't like your question, but I want to get as many people, if you guys can start getting ready, come up, ask your question. I'm going to drop you, and we're going to rotate people for the next 15 or 20 minutes. Let's get them in here, guys. Steve, does that work for you?
Absolutely.
Healthy, does that work for you?
Works good.
Look at that. We could all agree on something. Who is the first participant?
Well, I know Voices had tried to come up earlier.
Yeah, I had seen that.
So, yeah.
But there's a line of people there.
Oh, my God. Hold on 1 minute. Hold on, Jamie. Okay, I'm having a moment right now because, is it the lady?
Yes, I'm not interested in being up. That was an accident.
Well,
okay,
hey, since you're
but
up here, let me ask you a question. Did you like the live?
I have no question. I'm sorry. I was in the room when that happened by accident.
Did you like the live?
Yes, I want to sit and listen.
Okay, lady, though, I want to say one thing. Yo, this is so crazy that you came up. Your photo looks just like my sister who passed last year. Now, she was very, very special to me. And you and her have the same smile, the same structure. This is so crazy.
Oh, wow.
I'm seeing your picture right now up here.
Well, thank you so much.
Wow.
Thank you.
Like, she was a blessing. She was in the military, and she was very active, and she liked to hike. So I appreciate you blessing us. Thank you for blessing us on accident.
Yes, thank you. It had to be a God thing because I don't do live. I just lurk and listen and learn.
Listen, that was beautiful, though.
Sometimes you're hitting that like button and all of a sudden it goes, hey, she wants to talk.
That's what happened, and I could not figure out how to cancel it. So,
well, listen, I don't want to speak for you, and this is not my live. But now that you came up here, why don't you come up again when Jamie's live? When you feel more comfortable, come up and have a conversation with him.
Well, that's fine, but I don't have any immediate questions. I don't want to just take a spot, just to hold a spot.
Okay.
I like to be useful.
I love that.
Hey, we appreciate you. And look, we got another friend tonight, guys.
Yes.
There you go. Look, and I'm gonna follow you.
All right, that's fine. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, dear.
Absolutely.
Hey, that doesn't. Do you believe in coincidences? There, Healthy?
I don't. I mean, well, I do. It was a coincidence, but it doesn't happen that often. But when I saw her photo, I was like, oh my God. Now here's the thing. That's not my sister, but it was like my best friend. He was just here. It's his sister. She had cancer and she passed away. But we all grew up together and she looked just like her. And I'm like, oh my God, I miss her. That was crazy. That was crazy.
Let's see here. Some folks got tired, I think. We had like 15 in the queue. We're down to 5. So I just invited the top 3 there. Guys, if you have any questions or any comments, now's the time before we end this thing. And I'm telling you, this panel, if I had a question, I would be up asking because this is one of the better panels we've had in a while.
Hello, Lisa.
How are you? You went away.
Oh, man.
I'm going to just start picking random people that I know.
Oh, thank you, ladies.
This guy,
appreciate it.
watch out for this guy, man. He may.
Yeah, that's
I don't
my
know
buddy.
if I trust this guy. He's got shifty eyes. What's up, Jay?
Hey,
let me just
Brian,
tell
now
you. This
now you know my
next-
podcast page.
I'm stalking you too. Yeah, let me just tell you, you had a great live, and let me tell you, maybe you don't know this, but now you will. But Healthy here is the guy that was doing the filming for us at CrimeCon.
I figured that's who it was.
Yeah, and you know what? He came up and he just said like 1-2 words, and my wife goes, I know who that is. So that was awesome.
Yes. Tell Melissa I said hi.
I will, for sure.
Well, I tell you what.
I just want to come up here and say hi. You guys had a pretty good conversation. It was very balanced. It was respectful. We all lose ourselves a little bit, and then we get grounded. But just like I don't know, this is my belief. It starts with God, it ends with God. So you know what? You guys ended it that way with God, and look how we all just came together. You know.
Hey Jay, let me ask you a question. We all doom scroll on the platform, right? The conversation we had tonight, we've never had it, Steve, right? We've never went this far at the political part of this thing.
Yeah.
But Jay, here's the deal. You doom scroll and you see these lives talking about the same subject. They all leave mad. They all leave pissed off. They block each other and they never hear from each other again. Jay, 1 out of 10, the panel and the community, I'm going to give them a solid 10. We talked there's some serious stuff we talked about, and it should have made a lot of people mad. Jay, I didn't see that.
I didn't see it either, and I think that if when people have their opinion, and if you're open-minded to listen to somebody else, you will find common ground. You'll find common ground of understanding, and that's the problem. People need to be open-minded and not get butthurt about what people say, and just don't take it personally. Take your ego out of it, and use the front part of your brain and think. And that's the thing is, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the live, just listening in the chat with everyone, and everybody's been pretty respectful. I haven't seen no dirty comments or nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And Steve, real quick, a couple hundred people in and out. We're up to over 100K in likes, right? Steve, what if we could get this same conversation on a national level and have the same outcome, right? I still may not agree with everything that Steve says, or Healthy, or Jay, but you know what? I respect them, and I listened even though I may not have agreed. Steve, what would happen to the country?
Oh, I was going to say, with Jay Crown, it's like, if we could get more people to understand that, we talked a lot of politics today, and I saw a lot of comments on other pages, on other social platforms, you know, about not celebrating the 4th of July for this and that. You know, it doesn't matter who's in the White House. The flag is the flag, and it represents all of us. And we, this type of debate, we have to understand that regardless of who's running the country, we're all in the same race. We're all.
Hey man, we're all in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we're the real, the people in this country are the real light and the real direction of this country. And we have to stop battling over politics. You know?
And it's, Steve, it's okay to disagree with you. It's all right for me to disagree. You're my friend and have been my friend for years, but I'm okay to disagree with you and you're okay to disagree with me.
Yeah, we're not, you know, it has nothing to do with hate or malcontent with anybody. It's just understanding that we're all different people and we're all going to react to different things different ways.
Right.
And that's the beauty of this country. And if we could just get more people to understand that it's beautiful for us to debate things healthy and look at other perspectives, because we don't want to, I mean, people talk all the time about, you know, they want to be their own person. The fact of the matter is we're all the same. We just have different opinions on things. And I don't want to be a part of this group. Well, sorry, but you were born into this group. You know, God brought you here for a reason.
If I can, real quick, I just want to say one thing before I hop off. I think, you know, politics, religion, whatever you want to talk about, the problem with both sides is that we're too quick to judge. We're too quick, you know, the name calling and all that stuff. Got to stop. You know, that's the big part, because when you name call, it becomes personal. We take that out. It's not personal, and we can steer this in the right direction. It's you know, we're all in the same boat. So I just want to say good night, everyone. I love you. I'm out of here.
Jay, much love to you.
All right, Jay.
Jamie, boy, Jamie in Nashville. What have we done tonight?
I don't know.
This is crazy.
What?
Do you guys like seafood?
Sorry, what?
Do you guys love seafood?
Well, the two of us are in Florida, so there's
I'm in Nashville. We don't have seafood here.
Okay, well, I don't like seafood. And see, that right there is the difference. See how simple that is? But that don't mean I like y'all any less because y'all like fish.
Yep.
It's a very simple thing. That's a healthy debate.
Yep. Jamie, we've never done politics to this extent. I'm telling you, we've been here since February the 14th, new to the platform. Jamie, it went crazy with the conversation.
It was a good discussion. I don't know a lot. I'm not political at all. I don't follow a lot of politics. I wish I'd understood it more, but it's hard to dig in when you don't know much. You really don't know where to start because there's just so much.
Let's go to something that you do know. True crime, Jamie. What's your thought on the Charlie Kirk case?
And unfortunately, I didn't even follow that case that much. I think it's a very sad case. I'd never heard of him until this happened. I always have a hard time believing that people would do that to someone. Like it would be set up by like the government. I know it happens. But I always have a hard time. Like just same way I have a hard time believing that a police officer would do something bad. I know they do it, but my mind just doesn't let me 100% believe it. Like
here's the thing. Here's the thing, Jamie. It's different than when you see it. If you actually see footage of it happening, well, it's definite, right?
Right.
But when you talk about certain things and don't actually see it happening, like you don't have the facts or confirmation that it's actually happened, it's a little bit more difficult to, I guess, grasp because it's not definite.
Right. And like with all the AI stuff that's out there, like I did when it first happened, I went on and I looked to see, I watched the video it was hard to watch. Like I'd never seen anybody get on a live before.
Right.
You know, so that was, it kind of took me aback a minute. I'm like, oh my God, that was real. Like I'd never seen
that was real. Right. That was crazy.
It's not a
right?
TV show. That was real. He's not getting up. But then you start to look more, and I can never figure out what AI is. Like I will watch even a video of like a cat or dog or something, like, oh my God, that's so funny. And the comment says, oh, it's AI. His foot went right through the cabinet. I'm like, well, shoot, I didn't even notice that. I wasn't looking for that. I was just enjoying the video, you know? So I'm not observant enough, I guess, to pick out what's AI and what's not. So I don't want to watch all those videos if they're not real. Well, then I get false information.
Look, Jamie's picture could be AI. If he moves out of his frame, that picture right there can be created by ChatGPT. That picture. It's not hard.
It's crazy.
He does a lot of those. He does a lot of those type of things. Like he's been sitting on seats, talking to people, been around colleges. He's done a lot of those. So that's an easy picture to create if you wanted to.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. It's almost like we give up on knowing the truth just because AI exists.
You do, because then you often will get the wrong truth, right? I mean, and we don't know. We may never know what the real truth is on this, but there are videos out there that you can watch, I'm sure, that aren't true. But I might watch it and think it's real. And I don't want to then spread false information.
Yeah. Thank you, girl. We appreciate you.
Appreciate ya.
Bicycle. All right, guys. We're going to shut this thing down unless anyone else has any questions. Hey, Healthy.
Nah, it was fun. It was fun being here, guys. Thank you for letting me be in.
Yeah, give us your best closing on tonight's saga, and I want to continue it, Steve. But Healthy, chime in. What was the best part of the live for you? We know we disagreed a lot, but did we turn you at all on any of your disagreements?
You know what's crazy? Like, I think it might have added to a lot of my thoughts, you know? And here's the thing. A lot of things are partially skewed. Some things I could be 100% correct on. You know, we're all basing this off of, you know, thoughts, assumptions, evidence, things like that. It's it's interesting. It's interesting to see everybody's take. But yeah, it was interesting. It was fun tonight. It was fun. I used to do these debates a lot. I used to do these healthy debates. I have a podcast on YouTube called The Healthy Debate. I actually shot it here on TikTok, and we did 10 episodes. I just haven't been back here because I've been working on this new case, this new documentary with a certain guy that just popped up here. So, this is great. This is fun.
We did 3 hours the other night on the Zodiac case, and let me tell you.
Yeah, I heard.
That's some good factual stuff you guys are doing.
Yeah. Listen, I'm I'm starting to believe him when he says he has a blank check if somebody can prove him wrong, because this entire time I've been looking into this and catching up on all of their work, right? Yeah, I can't debunk any of it. It's really hard. And it seemed we got pictures. I was at CrimeCon. We got pictures. I got all this evidence. I got these testimonies. It's this is crazy. This might be the biggest crack.
If you're allowed to, or if you can, maybe I can get you to come on with Jay and maybe do an hour on what you've learned, basically. I don't know if you're down for that.
I can definitely. I'm down for it.
I'm going to give you a follow, and much love, much respect, and thank you for being you and not being swayed in your opinion.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, and Steve, it was a pleasure, my guy. Nice meeting you.
Absolutely. You too.
Yeah, you guys are a lot of fun, so can't wait to be back.
We'll be here Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
You found your new home, brother. Steve, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to let you do your takeaways, but when Healthy came on, he was asking some hard-ass questions, and ASK, not ASS. But he was putting down some comments in there that I didn't agree with, but some of it I did agree with. You know, here's the deal, Steve, and I'll let you do your takeaways now. It's a 50-50 chance on who comes up, but that is another guarantee. Don't judge a book by its cover.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, you know, we've seen that over the course since February, 14th. I mean, since the beginning of this, is that, you know, we don't criticize anybody, and we understand that there are different opinions out there, and we're not always going to agree. But when it comes down to it, you know, what it's about is that we continue to allow this kind of thing, and we love one another, and we just realize that doesn't matter what gets said on here. At the end of the day, we're all just people. We're all just friends.
And friends.
Yeah, and we're all just friends. And so, I mean, you can get heated, and I'll be honest with you, we got spicy tonight. And when we're done here, I'm going to go get some more water and watch a little bit of TV, and I'm not going to be hurt over anything that was said here tonight. So I think that's what everybody needs to understand is we're not here to do that. We're not here to hurt anybody's feelings or try to sway anybody's opinions. We just want everybody to be able to share what they believe.
Hey, here's somebody requested up, Steve, before you go hang loose. Hey, can you hear me? How are you? Hey, Pogie, can you hear us? I think he's buffering. Let's give him just a moment, Steve, to see if he comes out of this buffering pattern. All right. No, Steve, you're 100% on point. You and I got a little spicy.
Yeah, I still think you're crazy, but I love you.
I'm going to start wearing some aluminum foil. Hey, listen, guys, if you're not following Steve, please do. If you're not following Healthy, please hit that follow button. Healthy Debate on YT is his podcast. I'm going to go check it out. I suggest you guys go check it out. Steve, you have a podcast that you do. If you want to plug that real quick.
Yeah, right now we're in like permanent hiatus, but it's called Blue Truth and Bourbon, and I do it. When I do it, it goes through both of my Facebook page or FB pages and YouTube at this or YT. I hate that, but goes through all of those when I do it. You can find it on YT under Blue Truth and Bourbon. You can see all of those. It's also on Spotify and Apple podcasts, so they go there. But we're working on another one that's going to be about that I'm going to do with some people just for PTSD and for the Heroes United to Heal, which I'm an ambassador for. So I'll let you know when that comes out. It's not going to be on any night that we're doing something here, but other nights just to, there's a lot of stuff out there for first responders and for veterans. And so if you have a veteran in the family and want to understand a little bit about what goes on, that'll be coming up soon, hopefully, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Thank you, my friend. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
It was good.
We'll come up with a new topic for Wednesday night. We're going to start. Steve, I want to spice it up a little bit. I think we need to do more of these healthy debates, and you're the only partner that I'd want to do it with.
Well, let me know.
Wait a minute. I just saluted you. You can't salute me. Are we going to leave on bad terms, Steve Strickland?
Not at all. Not at all.
Thank you, man. Much love to you, brother. I appreciate you.
We'll see you.
Bye, bro.
Bye, guys.
There you have it, guys. What a jam-packed full of wild topics. And I'm not going to be long. Coco is, it's funny, Bayman, Coco is on, I think, a permanent hiatus. Coco loves the community. He loves doing TikTok, but his heart's really not into it. He's up in Jekyll Island fishing this week with his family. So we may get Coco back on next week if I can come up with a good topic that'll bring him back. So, and then Rick, I've got to text Rick tomorrow and catch up on Rick. Rick's been in and out on vacation. So we've got to get Ricky back in, Mr. Homicide himself. Guys, I'm not going to be long. Tonight was, I think, an eye-opener for me. It's always been taboo for this channel to do anything related to politics. But we sort of touched, well, we didn't touch on it. We got in the ditches with it, right? And you know what? It's okay. I cannot give you guys enough credit for staying above the curve, speaking your opinion, typing your opinion, disagreeing or agreeing, because you know what? Everyone stood their own ground tonight in a respectful manner. And we got through all the tough, hard discussions without anyone being offended or mad. So I have to give you guys the credit for that. The next hearing, guys, real quick, I want to touch on the John Curtis Lucas case. Spoke with Laura this afternoon. They have a pretrial hearing coming up on the 28th regarding the John Lucas case out of Elkview, West Virginia. I know that Laura was in here. I don't want to say anything out of turn, but she had a predestined meeting, and I wanted her to come on, but evidently that meeting took a lot longer than it was anticipated. So I know she was in here. I saw her. I'll reach out to her tomorrow and see if we can get Laura back on. I want to get Scott Summers, the Lucas family lawyer, back on. I know that there's a pending lawsuit that Scott Summers had talked about the last time he was on. I want to get the status of if that suit has been filed. If not, when does he anticipate it being filed? And then touch a little bit about this pretrial hearing on the 28th. What does that mean? I sort of know what it means. Nothing's really going to happen, but I want to hear it from Scott Summers. And then, of course, we want to hear from Laura, which is John Curtis Lucas's sister. So I know that she's going through some difficult times. The entire family and community at Elk River is going through some tough times. So hopefully we can get Laura and Scott on soon. If it's tomorrow, we'll do an emergency broadcast and bring them on tomorrow night. That's how important it is to us. So only the driver was charged. The passenger was not charged in the John Curtis Lucas case. With that, guys, mic drop. You guys did amazing. I give you each an A+. And we'll be back here Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Unless something breaks, we'll jump in and do an emergency broadcast. Karen, I hope you do too. Susan, both employees in that ambulance have been terminated. They were fired. Yes. Lisa, I saw you in the chat. Boy, you were tearing it up too. Good job. All right, guys, with that, I'll bid you a farewell. As always, thank you for liking and sharing the broadcast. That's how we're growing. Tonight, we attracted a bunch of new followers, which are now family. And it's only going to get better, guys. So if you have any cases, put it into Telegram. If you have any victims or survivors or families of victims of violent crimes or missing, send them our way. We want to air those stories. We want to hear the family, what they may need or what they could use to help that case. So any of the above, bring them to us and we'll put them up. All right, guys, thank you. At least I saw that. Hope your mom's doing well. Guys, good night. God bless you. And until Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm out.
One of those stupid surrogates. You got busted too.